All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
All right. Welcome to Real Talk, ladies and gentlemen, where we leave our feelings at the doorstep and we keeps it real.
Yeah, all right.
You stop it. Mike Hughes, I have learned to get my feelings and emotions in check. It's Freddie that we have to deal with, and I think Freddie is on the right path to righteousness. But until then, Freddie, President and CEO, say what's up to the people.
What's up, man? How are you guys doing? I'm sorry I'm laughing. Jay McGlovin's already rolling before we start the show. But I'm ready. I got a lot to get off my chest tonight. Let's get it. Glad to see you guys. Ray, Kenny, Jay, Savannah, and my brother Mike. Shout out to him. Much love to him on the opportunity that was presented to himself. Much love to you, bro, Mike.
And from Bond Chronicles, the man who just went videoless, it's Mr. Ray. Say what's up to the people, Ray.
Oh, man, I'm excited to be here. Exciting times. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to talk about. Had some great games to end the year. Washington ended the year on a high note. So I look forward to talking about that some. We got some playoffs this weekend, so it's going to be a great show.
All right. And from a fellow Cowboy alumnus, my boy Kenny, say what's up to the people.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a great weekend. It's playoff weekend for some of us, and it's couch weekend for others.
He just came in with the smoke. Okay, I see how this gonna go.
Put a name on it, Kenny. Who you talking about?
Oh, that would be you.
Read between the lines. Read between the lines.
I'm catching strays, and I just came to have a good time.
Yeah. That wasn't really towards you, Ray. That was more towards Freddie. But yeah, I'm glad to be on. Oh no, I was just with Freddie. I always like messing with Freddie.
Yeah,
glad to be on. A lot of news.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of news, a lot of things to cover, and I'm ready to get to it.
Hey, and next up, from the man whose team has no GM, no coach, but a hell of a prospect at his quarterback, it's my boy Mike Hughes. Mike, say what's up to the people.
Man, I'm vibing, bro. Today's a great day. I'm a little not in my element right now. I'm making food really quick, but I'll be there in a minute. I'm still with you. So until then, got to enjoy this.
Oh, yeah. Check them out.
And we shall. And for our 90-day intern who was late on the job, it's our girl, Savannah. Savannah, say what's up to the people.
Hi, what's up, guys? My team is a couch team this week, but, we playing next week, so.
Savannah, nobody cares. Oh,
yeah,
wait. Couch team. Oh, you're a Green Bay Packer?
Hell yeah.
What part of Green Bay?
Freddie got her on here. Now it all
Hold on, Savannah, you didn't tell me.
Freddie done snuck one in on us.
Oh, okay. I'm from Ohio. I don't live in Wisconsin. I am not from there, so I just have the Packers all my life. Listen, my family's pretty screwed up. I'm a Packers fan. My mom's a Raiders fan. My dad's a Vikings fan. This is weird.
It is weird because your family is rivals. How are you a rival with the Vikings? That's like Vikings and Packers. You should be hating your family right now. That's going to be a hell of a Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, my dad lives in Florida, so when I'm with him, I don't really like him, but
yeah, I bet you don't.
with my mom, she's not like in my division or anything.
Well, all right, there you go. Savannah, a woman of many controversies to start.
Mike's a Bears fan, yes.
All right, well, we're gonna get this show started, folks. Hey, we're gonna get this show started. We're gonna start off some NFL hot takes. Hey, I really like what Miami's got going on right now. I don't like the fact that they let go of Brian Flores. I think that was an absolute idiot, stupid thing to do. But given where they are in terms of their cap space and given where they are as a team itself, they look really, really sexy as a new coach hire. So I'm going with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams can be packaged up very nicely in that $74 million cap space they got. And I think Miami looks really, really sexy come next year. Freddie, what is your NFL hot take?
Just excuse me, everybody, because I'm about to explode. You know, I come on the show every week, Monday to Thursday, and I wanted Dave Gettleman fired. I wanted him fired. Wanted him gone. But now I have a new person I want gone. I want the Mara family out of New York. What in the world do you have going on in New York? You fired Joe Judge? Joe Judge. He was not your problem. Dave Gettleman was your problem. New York is done. It is done. Because we will not get a respectful coach that's want to take our money to come to New York. Everybody want to say Joe Judge was a bad coach. But what opportunity did Joe Judge really have down there in New York? What opportunity? He came into a situation where his offensive line was jacked up. He came into a situation with a young quarterback. He came into a situation with a Saquon Barkley who can't stay healthy.
Wait a minute now.
And you expect this man to take this team to the promised land? The Morgan family needs to get the hell out of New York. He need to get the hell out of New York.
So you
fired Joe Judge, who's a no BS coach. And you get rid of him. Jay McLovin, you in your place. I'm talking. We need him fast, quick, in a hurry to get the hell out of New York.
Go off, Queen.
And I'm sick and tired of it. Say it again.
Can I ask you a question? Based off of the Mara's resume and Joe Judge's resume, which one of those would you take?
I'd rather Joe Judge. I think Joe Judge is a great coach. No, I'm not going to say great. He's a good coach. I think he's a coach that don't put up with a lot of mess. He's a coach that comes in there. He holds his players accountable. I did see, that first year he was there, that the Giants did improve. I did see that. But to me, 2 years is too short.
But they got worse this year.
Okay, but that's the second year.
But I'm saying, like, you make
I understand that. But
my point is like you making it seem like this is such a bad decision to where they started. He had a bad year his first year, then he had a worse year his second year. So, like, I don't understand. Like,
well, I'm not gonna say his first year was a bad year. Me personally, I don't count that first year as a bad year. Me personally, I saw that as an improvement.
11, 6-10.
It doesn't with this team, Kenny. Doesn't matter about the record because they've been trash
for
years.
But that's what you're judged on as a head coach is wins and losses. So,
but what I'm saying is, Kenny, what can Bill Belichick is not coming to this team this year and making this all of a sudden a playoff team. Not with the personnel this team has.
And I understand that.
Saying, but Freddie, I think, like, Kenny, I don't know if I'm speaking for you, but like the way I hear what you're saying is like you can't look at one guy on that team and say, oh wow, Joe Judge developed him well. And you can't say that. And now you look at it as he's not winning games. So you're not really doing anything.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I kind of agree with that.
You're right, Mike.
And what I'm saying is, let me explain what I'm saying is. What I'm saying is there's the expectation is too high for a coach who comes to a team with the front office that failed to put an offensive line around Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley.
I don't want to hear
Saquon
that.
Barkley been in and out of the lineup due to injury.
Mhm.
So what can you expect out of Joe Judge? And then in 2 years, that's not enough time. It's not enough time. It's too short. That's all I'm saying.
So let me here's my other question then. If you're saying that Dave Gettleman is the problem and Dave Gettleman is now gone, you're bringing in a new GM and you want him to bring in a new GM and then you don't want him to be able to hire his own coach?
Bars. Talk to him, Kenny.
That standpoint, I do understand, Kenny. But we don't even have the GM yet.
No,
we don't even have the GM
think
yet.
what they just did there was pretty much dislocate anything that you just said about the Giants. Good way to shoot them down, Kenny. That was actually really good points.
I was just trying to understand your logic.
No, but it's good points. I don't think Freddie understood that. And I think Freddie acknowledged that. It's a good point. The GM should
Jay,
be the higher.
you didn't understand it.
I understood it. I thought Doug Green was the right call.
I was just trying to understand your logic. That's all.
All right, we're going to move on to Mr. Ray and get his NFL hot take. What do you got for us, Ray?
Excuse me. His name is Papa Ray. He is a father now. I wanted to get that out of the way.
That's right.
Well, then why did he put Papa Ray in his subtitle?
Look, I wish it was the first time.
No. See, when it's your first time, you're just dad. The second time, you Papa Ray. From now on, I will address you as.
Can somebody put some Biggie Smalls music in the background? Right now.
You know they'll mute us.
Hey, I can get close. It's not. Hey,
you only do 10 seconds.
To that, kind of to Freddie's point, to a small aspect. I think the NFL needs to take a hard stance on the Rooney Rule, and I think it needs to go a step further. I believe that if you are a minority coach that is hired, you should have a minimum of 3 years. This idea that you can fire these coaches after 1 year or 2 years, that Houston situation, we're going to get into it, I believe, is really disgusting to me. And I believe in similar, I think Flores might have eclipsed that, but the way in which they made that decision, I believe they've already tried to incentivize hiring minority coaches, and I don't think that's working. But I think it needs to go a step further. If you hire a minority coach, you need to give them at least 3 years to see what they can even do before you cast them out. Because what they're doing, and I agree with the Joe Judge situation, 2 years is not enough. All these teams are firing these coaches when these coaches are not always the problem. I'm not saying they're the solution, but 2 years doesn't tell you anything. If that was the case, Bill Belichick would not be coaching if he only got 2 years to do his job. Pete Carroll wouldn't have been back. There are so many people that have won Super Bowls with coaches that weren't successful early on, and I'm just really tired of seeing it. I think something needs to be done, and it's hard to do it because these are billionaires. You can't tell someone to do with their team, but something needs to be put in place because the way in which they're circulating through coaches, specifically minority coaches who have a really, really hard time getting a job, I think something needs to be done to address the tenure and the availability. I don't care if they get paid. They should be able to have a job for more than 1 year.
I think that needs to be extended out to Dan Culley, too, because freaking Culley I think that guy was just set up for disaster. 1 year, and he's like, done. That's ridiculous. But I want to go back to specifically to Brian Flores and your point about the Rooney Rule, which I agree, by the way. I agree. I think he should have been given a lot more. You know, what I understood from the Brian Flores was there was supposed to be disagreements between what he wanted Deshaun Jackson, Miami didn't want it, and so forth like that. Do you think that he was specifically – are you saying that he was basically fired because – you know, of them not because he's black, or is it because of him having disagreements with management? What really got him fired, do you think? Or was it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both, but I think, in my personal opinion, when you have a minority coach, it's easier to fire them. And it's a lot harder for them to get rehired. I don't think if Brian Flores is, I'll say white, winning 7 games in a year, and I know people are upset, but I think there would be a lot more calls to management. If you fire a coach that won 7 games in a row and beat New England to end the year, by all accounts, they were trending up. Even with the quarterback he didn't want, he's proven he can get the job done. Let's not act like Miami has abundance of talent. Like he set up an offense in the system that got Jalen Waddle. He broke a record. Like this team, in my opinion, overperformed in a very tough division, and there's no reason he should have lost his job.
And I'm going to say one more thing first. Eric Bieniemy interviewed, I believe it was for the Minnesota job. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they said that he didn't interview well enough. Do you think that also falls on that, or do you think that he just didn't interview well enough? I mean, what do you think?
They hired Zimmer, so I'm not going to listen to anything that the Vikings have to say.
I agree with you because I really like Bieniemy. I've been trying to push for Bieniemy to get a head coaching job for the longest now, and I'm still
I think from what I'm understanding and what I'm hearing from other people is the problem with Eric is his vocalness when it comes to the entire board, not just the offense. So I think he has a hard time getting into that phase and kind of hyping up a defense or giving a game plan to a defense. He's so solely focused on that offense. I think that might be the only validity to that comment made. But still into that, he understands what it takes. And I've heard this man talk. The people love him. The players love him. So I think it's bullshit at the end of the day.
Because even if
I'm not buying that either because either most coaches specialize on one side of the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm not buying that.
No, I'm not either. But that's the only thing I could think of is where it's like, okay, I kind of see like what you're trying to say.
Because you could hire a great defensive coordinator.
You can't sit here and tell me Mike McCarthy gives a shit about what everybody else is doing. He focuses on
that's what I'm saying.
And I think that's how it should be. I don't think as a head coach, when you have a bunch of things on your plate, you shouldn't be focusing on offense, defense, and special team. Like when you see coaches doing that, that's where they have a lot of trouble, which is why they have other people calling plays, because that's not something you want to do. And it takes away from your ability to do whatever else that it needs you to do in the game plan. So
the head coach is just an overseer. I mean, he just overlooks, and he has other guys that are, more specialized into it. He just wants to make sure that these guys are doing their job and getting their guys ready. And I mean, that's all the head coach is really supposed to. I mean, obviously he's going to give his philosophy. He's going to have his philosophy, but those guys should still be working individually into their respective departments of that team. So yeah, I think it's a lot of issues.
That's fair.
Hugh Jackson, Mike Singletary have been without an NFL job for how long? I'm just saying, if that doesn't make it a racial thing, I don't know what is.
Damian, I love you as a diehard.
But Hugh Jackson is a bad example.
Mike Singletary was and Mike Singletary is one of my favorite Bears ever, but he was
those are not. Well, Mike Singletary was
a great defensive coach.
No, but I'm saying he was better as a coach than Hugh Jackson.
Right. Without a doubt.
Probably a better example would be somebody like a Marvin Lewis.
I think Campbell too is one of those guys.
Yeah. What's my man? That was with the Colts. I can't think of his name.
Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell. Those will probably be better examples.
All right, we're gonna move on to Kenny. Let's get your NFL hot take, sir.
Yeah. My hot take is the Jaguars are gonna figure out a way to botch this new hire. The fact that they interviewed Bill O'Brien lets me know that they're on the way to totally botching this hire. Like, there's no reason whatsoever to even consider, bring him into the door. Candidates kind of
true.
The fact that you bring in Bill O'Brien, who was absolutely garbage, terrible bum juice in Houston, and you want to bring him to Jacksonville, they're on their way to messing this up.
And I knew when that whole DeAndre Hopkins trade with the Hughes, I knew.
That should disqualify you from
absolutely
for another job for the next 5 years.
Matter of fact, if I was going to interview him, which I never would, but if I was, the first question out of my damn mouth is going to be, "What was your reasoning for the DeAndre Hopkins trade?" The first question out of my mouth. What was your logic?
Right. What were you smoking when you decided to trade one of the top 5 wide receivers in the league?
He was probably the best at that time.
Yeah, he was.
All right, we're going to move down to Mike Hughes. Mike Hughes, what is your NFL take?
Well, the witch is dead. Nagy's gone. So I am having the very first hot take that's different for the first time in like 3 years because I've wanted that man gone, and he's finally gone. So But it's definitely something, Jay McLovin. It is in the realm of what we were discussing about Brian Flores, and someone in Chicago. I've advocated for Black Lives Matter. I've advocated for things that change the neighborhoods and the hoods that I grew up in, and everything going on. And I take that shit very seriously. And Ray and I have had many conversations about it. Kenny and I have had many conversations about minorities being head coaches and minorities getting opportunities that they aren't normally given. But my hot take is that the GM did not fire Brian Flores. Tua is the reason that this man got fired. When I really look at it, Brian Flores, who's not a bad head coach, he's a good head coach. I would call him great because I think what he salvaged and what went into that 1-7 start, turning it into a season that was salvageable, is really. Damien's my man. Fire Ted Phillips. But back on the point, I feel like with Tua, first of all, just like Jay McLovin said earlier, we all know Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert. That was clear cut from day one. He wanted Justin Herbert, and I've seen this before where, John Fox wanted Deshaun Watson, or he wanted Patrick Mahomes, and you give him Mitchell Trubisky. So off rip, this guy does not want Tua Tagovailoa. Now, the problem is Brian Flores is a defensive coordinator. He always was. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and he's great from the offensive side of the ball. He can do his job. He's not bad at it. But here's the problem about that. Now, if Savannah's Aaron Rodgers goes to Miami, there's no problem. Aaron does his thing with the guys that are out there, Fuller, Waddle, Gesicki, Gaskins, and Parker, and all of them, and he'll handle it perfectly fine. Flores does not have to be involved in that whatsoever. But Tua is so far behind. He can't read a defense. He can't stay healthy. He's not making good decisions that I feel like the GM is firing him because of Tua and saving his own ass because he never should have taken Tua to begin with. So now you're going to try to bring in this offensive-minded guru to try to fix him. And watch it be Matt Nagy, and it'll be the funniest thing in the entire universe. But it's going to be something along those lines. They're going to bring in an offensive-minded guy to try to salvage this GM's career because you shouldn't have taken Tua. It was clear from day one you weren't even really in a position where you needed a quarterback. Nonetheless, Justin Herbert. So where I usually like to give my stance on my political side of it to where it being like you're blackballing this guy and you fired him because he's a minority. In this stance, I think it's the GM more saving his own ass for the fall of Tua, and that kind of gives him a little bit more leeway, maybe 3 to 4 more years with this new offensive-minded guy. Maybe they end up trading Tua, maybe they don't down the line, but I think he's saving his own ass and blaming Flores for being incompetent, even though he is, but it's Tua the one that's incompetent. So I think it all started with Tua at the end of the day.
I want to say something real quick. Good points, Mike Hughes. And I'm going to go back to more about what Ray was talking about the Rooney Rule because there was just something I wanted to kind of bring to light real quick. Because I'm a very much big believer in minorities getting a fair shot at these interviews. I'm very big, and I'll tell you why. Rachel Balkavic. If you don't know who Rachel Balkavic is, she was the female that was the first head coach hired by the New York Yankees organization, single A ball, Tampa Tarpons. Now, this woman, if you research her, has amazing qualifications. She's stacked. When I say she's stacked, she is stacked. The only thing that she lacks from being a Major League Baseball coach is experience. And that she'll get when in the single A organization, and she'll work her way up and get the experience needed. But that's the only thing that keeps her back from really being a Major League Baseball coach, is just the experience of it. But I'm going to tell you this. On her resumes, as stacked as it is, she put the name Rachel Balkavic on there, and she got 0 calls back. Right. 0 interest. So what does she do? She changes her name to Ray Balkavic. All of a sudden, now she's getting calls off the chain. Like everybody's calling her. Up until the fact they find out she's a female. And then once they find out she's a female, those calls dry up. And some managers even just tell her flat out, we don't want to hire a woman. We're not going to hire a woman. And now the Yankees, thank God, the Yankees are setting or ground breaking and giving her the opportunity to be the head coach. My point is this: gender and color of your skin should have 0 bearing on the job. Because there's a lot of ignorant people out there that are whites. I'm just going to be honest with you. Bill O'Brien's probably the best example right off the rip. So if you're basing who you're bringing in for interviews based on color or gender, that's just stupid.
Right.
Stupid.
But to me,
I just want to throw that out there.
But to me, it makes it even worse. If they trade Tua, that makes it even worse.
Oh, he's gone. He's canned.
But that's my point. Like, if the issue is if the issue is that that Flores didn't want Tua as his quarterback, and you trade him, basically you're saying that he was right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's my thing though. That's
So
why
that
I
makes
feel
it
like
even worse.
you bring in that offensive minded guy to try to see maybe you can salvage Tua. But I think at the end of the day, Tua ends up leaving. And then I think that this guy ends up getting fired just a couple years or maybe next year, depending on what their record is.
All right, we're going to roll on over to Savannah and get her hot take, her NFL hot take for the 90-day intern. What you got for us?
All right, I'm thinking with the NFL playoffs coming up and everything, I'm looking at the teams. I'm going towards the Raiders for me, and I do not think that Derek Carr is the answer for them. I think that there has been so many seasons where you think that he's playing well at the beginning, and then he just absolutely falls apart. I'm shook that they actually made the playoffs. That Chargers game was absolutely amazing, but I don't think that's what he's going to look like when he faces the Bengals. Like, he fumbles almost every game. He has a stupid interception every game, and somehow they find ways to win, but they have Hunter Renfro's emerging. They have Darren Waller. They have Josh Jacobs. Like, they have all these people around them, and they sign expensive linemen, and he still can't get the job done. I know a lot of people that back up Derek Carr, and he probably should have been one of the main talks for MVP in 2016 before he broke his foot or his ankle, like whatever he broke, and couldn't play in the playoffs. Ever since then, he hasn't looked the same, and I think the Raiders just need to completely move on with him. They need to, not completely start over, but at least move on from him. They're going to get a new head coach this offseason. They need to focus on the draft and take another quarterback and see where their team can go, because you look at the AFC West division, and they have Justin Herbert, and he's that dude. He's going to be that dude for the next couple years. They have Patrick Mahomes. Denver's having problems, obviously, but if they were to get someone too, the Raiders would be in trouble. They would be in last place every single season.
I'll tell you this, though. I'll tell you this: the best player on the Steelers is the Raiders. If they don't kick that field goal, they take a tie. We ain't even talking about the Steelers, Kansas City.
Hey, Brandon Staley shouldn't have taken that timeout. Steelers wouldn't have been in.
Hey, that's the dumbest. Hey, when that Chargers coach took the timeout, he solidified his fate.
I know.
So I have a question, because in here I'm confused a little bit by your stance. You're saying move on from Derek Carr and look for someone in the draft, but you also named that there's two phenomenal quarterbacks in the division, and I believe Denver's a quarterback away. So starting over, basically what you're saying is for the foreseeable future, Las Vegas in Vegas is going to be the worst team in that division. Derek Carr got them to the playoffs with not a lot of help. But coming into this year, Hunter Renfrow was not a household name or any kind of premier player. Josh Jacobs he's solid when he's healthy. But I feel like Derek Carr elevated him, and they won some big overtime games with him leading. And so now you're saying get rid of him and replace him with a rookie? I feel like
specifically because I think Derek Carr has talent. I'm not saying that he absolutely sucks. I just think you have to think of all the turnovers and all the problems that he has. He literally can't maneuver in the pocket. He literally goes like this when people come around him. You don't see him going ever outside of the pocket to throw the ball. He fumbles all the time. He throws it. Imagine how great the Raiders would be if they had a quarterback that didn't turn the ball over. Now, I know it's almost impossible to never turn the ball over.
Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson
turn the ball without anyone touching him. It's weird. They need to find a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, and they would be blowing these teams out with the people that they have on their roster.
So you want more of a Mac Jones that doesn't ad lib or try to make plays, that's super conservative?
More in general.
No, just I don't think
Kirk Cousins. I'm trying to think of who out there. I believe Derek Carr is a top 7 quarterback.
I see your point.
So who are you saying is going to take the team to the next level? If you're saying he's underperforming, what do you go get to make the team better? Because I think the division is just going to get tougher going forward.
Hey, Ray, you guys got to remember, Savannah roots for a quarterback who don't turn the ball over. So you have to understand where she's coming from. You have to understand where she's coming.
And if they can get Aaron Rodgers, you ship him out yesterday.
On Aaron Rodgers, he's going to jump in there.
Every damn time. I think he should just change his name from Freddie to Aaron.
Okay, so when we're going to end up talking about trades and players and stuff like that, you're going to talk about what quarterback I think could completely elevate the Raiders. I'm going to say Deshaun Watson. I think that he would make that team unstoppable.
outside
I don't think they would be willing to do that though, just because of all the things they are. I mean, you have 4 guys on your offense that have DUIs right now, all of 2021. You have a head coach who is the biggest racist and sexist and all these other things. You have Henry Ruggs who's going to prison, and now you're going to bring in Watson with everything he has going on. And granted,
they deal with stuff like that every season, though. Like
but not all on the same team. Not all on the same team, though. That's.
Mike, the Cowboys. A few years they was rolling with those kind of people. So,
I think the other part is. Now, I was gonna say, I think the other part is that either you would have to do it via trade, because there's no quarterbacks in this year's draft that you're going to say that are franchise quarterbacks. So I think you would have to do it via trade as opposed to trying to.
I will say though, I'm rocking with Sam. I'm rocking with Sam Howell. I think he's going to shock a lot of people.
I mean, I think Houston would take Carr for Watson and maybe a draft pick or two.
Yeah,
I definitely would if I'm Houston.
I just don't think I think the Raiders need to move on from him. I think Carr could have a starting job on another team.
I'll say right now,
move on from him.
Hey, I think what Carr's done with all of the obstacles that the Raiders organization
I give him a lot of credit for this season.
Hey, you gotta give that man some damn credit. I can't let you just go out there and just put him like that, because he's going to do more than what anybody else is going to. But yet they're still in the playoffs.
Right. I don't think that's what she's doing at all.
So here's the thing: is when Carr's contract is up next season, he signed a 4-year, like $100 million contract. When his contract's up, you expect the Raiders to sign him to another 4 to 5 year contract? Like, I just don't think that they should. I don't think that they should do that.
I hate it.
I think you would get like a 3-year, but it would be in that $40 million range. But I think it'd be more 3 years than 4 to 5.
Right.
And I also look what's available out there. What you got? Maybe possibly Russell Wilson if he leaves. Possibly Aaron Rodgers if he leaves. There may be a Deshaun Watson out there if they decide if the Raiders give what the Texans are asking for, which they're asking for a lot, and they're not willing to move based on what you think that you should give them. They're going to take what they want, or they're going to just keep sitting them. So what do you really have out there to choose from that makes you so much better? Because you really don't have it in the draft.
I just think it's funny that
there is options. There are options. Let's not get it twisted, you guys. This offseason, I believe, is going to be a shakeup in quarterbacks. You have Russell Wilson potentially on the go. You have Deshaun Watson. You don't know where that's going to go. Savannah, I'm sorry to say, Aaron Rodgers, it is a possibility that he's out of Green Bay. You got a lot of quarterbacks. That's a lot of questions. Hey, we don't know what Minnesota's going to do with Kirk Cousins. I mean, so there's a lot of question marks that could shake up a lot of things in the NFL this offseason. So
I just think it's tough because I believe that'll be
the best division
in football.
What are you doing?
You have to have a solid quarterback in that division because that division is
right. Go to sleep, man.
All right, hey, let's move
on. Isn't Texas asking for too much?
32 minutes just on one topic. Unless we're going to do a 24-hour marathon, let's move on to the next topic real quick, which is a lot, right? It's coaching changes, right? We're going to talk about the coaching changes. It's kind of vague with how y'all listen to this. I'm going to go with. Hey, what team? Okay, right now you got Minnesota, Chicago, Denver, Miami, and New York that we know of 100%. We're still waiting to see what Seattle does, obviously, with Pete Carroll. But this is the one that we know.
I'm just saying this is
the one that we know that are available.
Okay.
Hey, what team out there do you think gets it right, and what team do you think gets it wrong? Freddie. And I know, Kitty. Hey, I know.
The team that got it wrong is Miami.
Hey, we got Kitty, but listen.
Hold on, I'm talking. You still in your cage, sir. Listen,
Kitty,
Miami got it wrong.
Who gets it right? Who gets it wrong?
No, who gets you talking about in terms of who they hire?
Yeah, right. What team do you think makes the right choice at coach, and what team do you think makes the
wrong?
Who
are you asking, me or Kenny?
I don't know how many more times in the English language I can say Freddie.
Go ahead, Freddie.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to do sign language? I don't know sign language. And I'll get my wife, who has a master's, to come in here and give it to you in sign language or Spanish, whichever one you prefer. So I'm going to say it again. Freddie.
Thank you.
Freddie. Who gets it right? Who gets it wrong?
Listen, the Miami Dolphins got it wrong, not for the reason that nobody mentioned it on here yet. just for the reason that you knew that there's a possibility Deshaun Watson wanted to come play for you, and it was because of the head coach. Everybody knew that. That was reports when he came out that he wanted to come to Miami because of the head coach. And you fire him because you wanted to keep Tua. You fired him because you wanted to keep a quarterback that really hasn't shown to be a franchise quarterback to lead this team. If the Miami Dolphins get a quarterback like a Deshaun Watson, the style of play, that will clearly take them to the next level of competing into the playoffs and going to the next level. But for you to sit back and wait for Tua, it shows other quarterbacks, other players out there. Okay, you do not want to win. You get rid of a guy who the players respect the hell out of. They like playing for him, and hey, those guys was extra motivated behind them. But to talk about a team who has a lot of upside, who can bring in a coach and turn them around. I know what I said in my hot take, but let's not forget that this is New York, baby. This is the Big Apple. This is Big Blue. This is a team that won Super Bowls. Let's not sit up here and act like we don't have a Saquon Barkley. We don't have a Daniel Jones. Oh, Kenny, I'm talking. I didn't talk while you talked. We have a Kadarius Toney, a Sterling Shepard, an Evan Ingram. We got all the sexy pieces. We just waited for somebody to come drive the train and take us to control the NFC East, to control the NFC, to let them know who the hell we are, the New York Giants.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt, but you said earlier that 2 years isn't enough for a coach to get fired, but then you just said that Tua is not looking like he's going to be a franchise quarterback. So 2 years isn't enough for a quarterback, but 2 years is enough for a quarterback, but 2 years isn't enough for a coach.
No. What I'm saying is that anytime you have a Deshaun Watson that's want to come play for you, and then when you have a quarterback who haven't shown you promise, you move heaven and hell to get close to get a guy like that.
Hey, Savannah.
Hold on, Kenny.
Let me.
Freddie,
I'm real quick. Hold on.
Hey, you act like this man doesn't have criminal allegations against him. Like, you gotta wait, bro.
No, we
have to wait.
We gotta let Savannah know what that was. See, Savannah, there's something that goes on in the show, and you just experienced it for the first time. It's called Freddie Facts. See, what Freddie Facts are is they only make sense to Freddie and to no one else. So you just experienced your first Freddie Facts for the night. It'll be more. Just stay tuned.
Hey, let me ask you this: do you think that Brian Flores' effect on Miami, whoever takes over that job, basically Brian Flores just got Mark Jackson?
Yes. A little bit. Yeah,
it's ridiculous, man. It's crazy. Whoever they would do hire is that Miami job. I think the pressure is on them. Because they have the right team. Man. Hopefully they don't mess that. Hopefully they don't mess up what he has put in place.
The difference between him and Mark Jackson is he don't got Stephen Clay on that team. Whoever goes to Miami don't got Stephen Clay.
That is true. That's true.
All right, Ray. We're gonna try this. What team out there do you think hires the right coach? Or what team do you think out there is going to wind up hiring the wrong coach?
I ain't gonna lie. I think most everybody gonna get it wrong. I think whoever Brian Flores goes, he's gonna immediately win that locker room. So I think whoever hires him will have the best situation. But based on what I've seen from all the franchises we've talked about that fired their coaches, there's little to tell me that any of them are gonna hire the right person. Maybe Minnesota. Maybe Vegas. I think Vegas has a lot to offer. So I would say I'd put Vegas at the top of the list. And I actually liked the Mayock Gruden combination. But I would say the Raiders probably will most likely get it right. But I think most will get it wrong. So we'll see what happens. But I'm not really optimistic of any of the franchises currently looking for coaches.
All right, Kenny, what's your what team do you think is going to get it right? What team do you think is going to get it wrong?
Well, I already said who I said is going to get it wrong, so I'll just say who will get it right. I'm actually going to go with who Ray referred to, Minnesota. I think out of all of the jobs, I think they have the the most ready-made roster to be able to win. I think they have the best in terms of talent and balance and things of that nature, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Just get somebody to come in and figure out their defense. Then I think it's kind of similar to almost like Dallas last year, to where if you could just get the defense to be solid with the offense that they have, then they can be really good. So I think that's the team that'll wind up getting it right, just because I think they have the most amount of talent. They have the quickest path to be able to contend.
Mike, what you got, brother?
I agree. I think Brian Flores, out of anywhere, needs to go to Minnesota. You give him a fire-ass offensive coordinator, and I think you have something really special there. I don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now because I don't believe in Keelan Mond, and I believe Savannah, probably as a Packers fan, can agree that Keelan Mond is horrible. And I don't need 2 years or more to realize that. I see that every single time I watch the kid practice. But you know what? If I eat those words 3 years from now, so be it. Roll the tape. But it's something to where right now I don't see that happening. I will take Odell's right ACL before I take Keelan Mond on any day.
I like that. That's a good one. I like that.
And I will, but it's a situation to where I think they are so ready and so close, and the reason they can't get over the hump is because Zimmer is not a leader. Zimmer is I don't know what – I'm very good about vibes. I feel the vibe off of people a lot, and the vibe I get off of Zimmer is just the ultimate douchebag, like the guy who will not change his ways, the guy who is not going to give you the time of day, the guy who is not going to change up a game plan. He's not going to let you audible. That's who Zimmer is. You know, you are 7 yards away from getting Justin Jefferson, the Randy Moss single-season record, and you had over a minute and a half to do so, and you kneeled the ball every single time. In the final game of the season, which meant nothing, you were up 20-something points, and that spoke volumes to what the Minnesota Vikings were with Zimmer, is when you have a chance to get it done and capitalize on something that's good for not only your fan base but for your locker room, you didn't. He doesn't give a shit about his players. He didn't give a shit about anybody else. So I feel like Brian Flores, that's the man of the people, you know, and I don't know how he'll feel about Kirk. But you'll definitely be able to get that opportunity to see maybe we get someone else in free agency. Maybe we do a Brett Favre experiment with Aaron Rodgers to where he goes from Green Bay to Minnesota. Who knows? I'm just saying we've seen it before. And it's something to where when it comes to getting it wrong, like I said, I think there's two people that get it wrong. One, the Raiders, because here's the thing. John Gruden was a racist, a sexist, a bigot, and everything else. But so is their ownership. So they are the problem as well. And that's the biggest thing to me. If you guys are going to sit here and tell me that they didn't know those things about John Gruden, everybody knew those things about John Gruden. Now it's just there's validity to it, and there's a piece of paper that says he said it. That's just the difference. And now we're in a day and age to where it's not okay, which it never was, but now it's really not okay. So they are still a problem. I don't see them getting that right. I don't see them being competent enough to make the right hire. And honestly, with the way that team's going, I don't see how they do. And another one is the Dolphins. Tua is the problem. It was never Brian Flores, and the roster is perfectly fine. So I think at the end of the day, you're only going.
Miami ownership was a problem, not so much Tua, because Tua is a byproduct of the ownership.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you can bring in whoever you want, but Tua and the ownership are going to be at the end of the day what loses you games, and nothing's going to be able to change with that.
I agree. All right, well, let's move on to Savannah real quick. Savannah, what you got?
So when I'm thinking about teams that are going to get it wrong, I have to go with the Texans just because I don't agree with them firing their coach anyways. He did a really good job, I personally believe, with what he had on the roster. I don't think he should have got fired. Yeah, like they were competitive almost every game of the season. Like they had some crazy wins. Mm-hmm. They obviously had some blowout losses, but they had like no one on their team, and they're still winning some games and staying competitive in some games. I think they lost already just by firing him. So I don't think they're going to find anyone necessarily better for their team, especially with who they have. So, and when I have to get it right, I also have to go with Minnesota. I think they have great pieces. I think they're I don't want to say a destination team because I can't really say that as a Packers fan, but like as someone like outside for the NFL, I have to say that they're a destination place with all the pieces that they have. Like they are almost a full team. They just need a great coach.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're making Culley pay for the mistakes of Bill O'Brien, which is absolutely stupid, but it is what it is. I hope Coley latches on with somebody else. He really should have, I think, interviewed them a little bit more about that situation before taking that job anyway, because it was a horrible place for him to go for his coaching experience.
I think he had an opportunity and he had to take it.
You can't not. There's only 32 teams. You know.
No, but he should have got something in writing that says, "Hey, listen, I need more than just 1 year."
Right. Well, I saw that Ian Rappaport tweeted that they said that they were going to probably fire him after a year anyways. Like, I think the Texans went into it thinking that they were only going to have him for a year anyways, which I think is absolutely ridiculous and very unfair.
Well, that's even worse. If that's the case, that's even worse on the Texans part because they tried to disclose that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way in which his contract was structured, I think the second year was the only one that was guaranteed. So it was set up so that they could get out after a year, which is kind of what everyone expected to happen. I do have a question for really Kenny. If Dallas goes on any kind of run here in the playoffs, are you concerned that you're going to have to make a decision about Kellen Moore?
No, I honestly think that he's going to. I think we're going to lose him. I'm already kind of consigned to it, I guess, for lack of a better word, because he's the hot guy. And to be honest with you, and I was having a conversation with one of my friends about this. I'm not sure if he's ready to be a head coach. He's had some success as an offensive coordinator, but he's only been an offensive coordinator for a couple of years. But he's just one of them he's just a hot candidate that he's getting fast tracked. But I'm not sure if he's ready to be a head coach, to be honest with you.
Are you ready to lose Dan Quinn too, though?
Like, yeah, I think Dan Quinn is going to. We could, and we could.
Go ahead, Kenny. I was
going to say we could, but I think also with all of that talent that we have, it's one of them situations where with all of that talent that we have, I think that's one of those things that you could kind of plug anybody into that role, and they'd be successful when you have that type of talent to work with. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like this, and it's like almost like
Kenny, don't do that.
No, seriously, it's like the Steve Kerr thing. Like,
don't say that.
Good. No, honestly, it's like to me, it's like Steve Kerr.
We saw what Dan Quinn was the year before he came to Dallas and got Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. That Atlanta defense was absolutely atrocious. So I don't think that's a concern.
And we've seen this Dallas defense.
But that's my point. That is when you
once
have
they got the talent.
That's what my point. When you have talent makes you a better coach. So that's
what more did they add this year than last year?
What are you talking about on the offensive side?
The two defensive.
No, your defensive end. You had DeMar. I know you got Parsons, but you had DeMarcus Lawrence. You had Van Der Esch. You still had a lot of those guys on the defensive end. That's my question.
You forget Diggs? Diggs was kind of a big deal. Even though he gave up a bunch of yards, he turned the ball over a ton. And their safeties.
Yeah, but it's like players going to other teams. Different coaches on teams can bring out a different side of players.
Right.
Like you can have all the same people and bring in someone new, and they're going to look completely different because of their system and the coaching styles that they bring to the team.
And in my opinion, I think they're misusing. I think they're misusing Parsons at certain times because I think he should be rushing more. But Kenny, my follow-up question was, in Washington, we had Sean McVay and we had Kyle Shanahan, and we let them go as coordinators who were hot young coordinators to keep our head coach. My hope is that you will do the same and keep McCarthy, but I think y'all need to let McCarthy go because I think Kellen Moore can be a good coach. Based on what I've seen as an offensive mind with that offense, there's a bunch of teams, whether it's Las Vegas, whether it's Minnesota, or even Miami, that if he went to any of those teams, I think he could do a lot with those offenses with the pieces.
And it has been said, though, that Kellen Moore, is prime. Jerry Jones is prime to put Kellen Moore in that next spot. So I do think that that's where Jerry wants Kellen Moore to go.
And honestly, it could be one of those situations where it could be, a Jason Garrett part 2, where Jerry Jones makes him the highest paid offensive coordinator, and then he steps in for.
That's what they've already been talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That understanding that he's going to step in for McCarthy, so it could be that.
I do agree with you though, Kenny, to the point to where it's like, Ray, like I do have a question for you. At the beginning of the season, you don't hear a single soul talking about Moore possibly leaving to be a head coach this year. I think it's way too soon. I think there's conversation of, he's definitely deserving of this, but I've been saying about Bieniemy. In 2018, when everyone said Bieniemy should leave and go be, somewhere else after Patrick Mahomes had the MVP season, they won the Super Bowl, I said give him a couple more years. And now I'm at the point where I'm saying Bieniemy deserves a job as a head coach. It's been years of consistency. Let's see him do something now, 2 Super Bowls. But with Moore, it's like, okay, that's cool. You did this, but let's backtrack everything else that happened. And it's not that impressive. So I think it's way too early. And honestly, it's just, we're living in the moment, and in the moment right now, it looks hot. But when you look at the bigger board of things, it's really not.
But I think
what's happening in this moment. We got to move on to another subject matter.
Good.
Hey, we got to move on to another subject because we only have topic number 3, and we're on a longer list of things to talk about, folks. Hey, wild card preview. It says review. We're talking about preview going into this weekend. Hey, I'm just gonna give my teams. I'm gonna let you guys talk about the explanation of why y'all pick y'all teams. I'm just gonna give the teams. I got Bengals, Patriots, Bucks, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Rams as the ones advancing out of the wild card. And I'm gonna let you guys expand on who y'all think. Freddie, I'm gonna let you go first, brother, since you long-winded.
I know you ain't talking. I
can't mind about
Kenny. They make a stuff be doing shots on stuff that he be doing, but okay. Man, it's crazy to see that a team in the Arizona Cardinals had such a hot start in the season, one of the best teams in the NFC, and they get a potential that they can get bounced out first round. That just sounds crazy to me that you went in the year saying, okay, we're coming to win. We're coming to win this year. And then I understand D-Hop got hurt. I understand that. But I bet they wish they would have went out there, Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I mean, who would have known that D-Hop was going to get hurt? Nobody knew that. But with that being said, I do have the Rams winning on Monday. You Cowboy fans, don't be surprised if the Cowboys find some way, somehow, to lose on Sunday. This looked like a setup game. This looked like a setup game that the Cowboys. I'm trying to tell you, if you listen, Kenny, I'm telling you.
Just let the man get his stuff out so we can roll on.
That the Cowboys is in a setup mode where they're going to go in this game. They're going to underestimate the 49ers. They're going to come in there with their chest sticking all out. Let's not sit up here and act like Dak Prescott have all of a sudden found the rhythm to get ready because they blew out a Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen that a few weeks before. They beat Washington that way, but then it came the next week and struggled. So I'm not sure about that San Francisco defense. So I'm going with the 49ers. And then I'm going with the Bills. They got Joe Burrow. Hey, Joe Burrow is the next. He's the next Aaron Rodgers. He's the next Tom Brady. He's the next it. You see this man in his eyes. You see it in the game. He's coming for vengeance. He's going to show y'all that he's that dude. And then the Patriots. The Patriots beat the Bills, when it was cold, it was windy, and Mac Jones only threw the ball 3 times, something that we'll probably never see again. And if we do, it's going to be years and years and years. But I believe Josh Allen in that defense is going to come back with vengeance. They're going to say, okay. And then we have seen Mac Jones start to look like a rookie as of late. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. And then with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Eagles, I'm going to tell you, this could be a setup game for them as well. Godwin, he's out. We see what happened to Antonio Brown. Hey, Tom Brady and Mike Evans don't have the best chemistry as it is yet. I'm going to still go with the Buccaneers because they got Tom Brady. But do not be surprised. It could be. Dang, man, I can't talk, bro. Okay. All right, I'm going to start timing you.
Can't talk. That's all you do, bro.
Listen, man. Hey, hold on, time out.
The games are over. We're in the conference.
I feel like Freddie's answer, I just gave birth. Hold on a minute. I feel like I just gave birth in his
game already ended.
Hold on a minute. Ray, let's move on to Ray. Everybody go get your turn. Ray, who do you got, brother? 30 seconds left, please.
I'll go quick. I got Chiefs, Patriots, Bengals, Bucks, Niners, and Rams.
Notice
Okay.
how fast that was, Freddie.
Very
Take
similar to
notes.
me.
Kenny, I know
Mike,
you. I know.
Yeah, it's no time for anybody else to explain their picks. Freddie took it all, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Cincinnati, Buffalo, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Kansas City, and the Rams.
Okay. Big Mike, what you got, baby?
I'm rocking with the Bengals. They won me a fantasy championship from Bengals all the way to the Super Bowl. I got the Patriots because I want Brian Daboll in a Bears uniform on Monday morning. I got the Buccaneers, the Cowboys, and what is it? The Chiefs and I'm gonna say the Rams.
Okay. And Savannah, what you got, girl?
Okay, I got Buffalo. I do think that Tampa Bay is going to have a hard time with Philly, but I still think they're going to win. San Francisco, Kansas City, the Rams, and then I actually have the Raiders over the Bengals because I look at their matchup like in Week 11. Listen.
Savannah doesn't like me, bro. Talking about Green Bay, talking about the Raiders.
I look at their matchup in Week 11, and the Raiders are not the same team, and they're rolling right now. And Daniel Carlson is like on fire right now. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders with a game-winning field goal, like last-second kick.
And you still want them to get rid
I
of
swear,
Brown?
Savannah, you must be special. Savannah, you must be special. They ran me out the damn time to talk, but they let you talk. I mean, damn. I mean, what I got to do is damn.
Freddie, they take up about 10 seconds. You take up about an hour. Let's not get it twisted. Let's move on to the next topic. I think the next topic is going to have Freddie talking for a while now. There's an echo out there for sure. I got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, who's a clear favorite. I think both quarterbacks had a bad game versus New Orleans. I think not a clear favorite. I think there is a favorite. I think Aaron Rodgers, based on less weapons and a better record and rating, I think is a favorite. And I got Aaron Rodgers. What do you got, Fred?
You your shit, bro. You were blaming Kenny in the chat. It's you, bro.
He's a bad man. And Aaron Rodgers. Y'all already knew I was coming from this Tom Brady. Please cry me a river. You talk about a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking him immunized or unimmunized. It don't matter. With a good toe or a bad toe, it don't matter. I'm taking him. We got more. Hey, he might don't have more touchdowns than Tom Brady, but guess what? He have a whole lot less turnovers than he do. And guess what? His team number one. And he's coming. He said, okay. Y'all talked about me last year in the divisional round about me not running. Watch me run it this year with a broken toe. And I'm coming for you, Mike. He coming for you because you the one called him out. Aaron Rodgers MVP, back-to-back MVP.
How I call him
Okay,
out?
Ray. What you got?
Jay, you said you need to hurry up, sir. I'm done talking. Pass it to Ray. We don't have time.
I just did. Ray, what you got, Ray?
For my picks?
Yeah.
I already gave y'all my pick.
No. Hey, we on Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. He's a clear favorite.
Oh, my bad.
God, it is your bad.
Y'all know where I stand with this. This is laughable. It's a travesty that this is even a conversation. Tom Brady is MVP. They had the same record. Tom Brady's stats are exponentially better. He had far less help throughout the year. Like, what more can I say? I don't know what else Tom Brady needs to do. I don't really know why Aaron Rodgers is in this conversation. He throws the ball away. He has the best receiver in the league. He has a great dual threat running game. He had a much better defense statistically. By every metric, Aaron Rodgers had more help, and by every metric, Tom Brady was better.
No, not every metric. No, Ray, you can't say that.
Outside of turnover ratio.
Ray, you can't say that. 4 picks to 12 is a lot, and a 111 rating versus a 102
and
rating.
How did Aaron Rodgers have more help than Tom Brady?
Tom Brady has had every weapon known to man.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Gronk.
Leonard Fournette was a cast-off that they signed, and he didn't even come in the.
He did quite well with the Bucs.
And
he did quite well with the Bucs.
Right, and because Tom Brady made him come to life. What do you mean?
But what I'm saying is he's had weapons. He's got way more weapons than Rodgers has had. It's ridiculous. But let's go a little further. You know, you have 4 picks to 12 picks. I mean, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. And not to mention the rating is better at 111, 102. So how do you figure? The Tom Brady's the GOAT. Nobody's disputing that. But when you look at this
rating is based off the turnover ratio, but he had to do way more with less talent. Yes, you named a bunch of names. Most of them weren't there. There was no continuity.
Adams,
Antonio Brown,
Antonio Brown was like 9 games. What are you talking about?
Adams Jones and last
Howard, they got like 5 tight ends.
Who?
I got like
Howard, Cameron
Brady, Bet.
Hey, I got all the tight ends y'all needed. I got
Ronald
it. Let me
Jones,
know. Them.
We're gonna slide down to Kenny and get his reaction.
Hell yeah, the bottom people on the top, man.
This season, Mike, we're coming to you. Calm down.
This is
Aaron
Rodgers, no question about it. In terms of offensive weapons, it's not even close. You got Devontae Adams and a bunch of who no names. Randall Cobb is way past his prime. We talk about Montes Venus Gambling or whatever his name is, and a bunch of other guys you pretty much never heard of, who's Aaron Rodgers have elevated their game. Miss me with that. Tom Brady's got an embarrassment of riches in terms of offensive weapons. So, and he's got more turnovers. So, it's Aaron Rodgers all day, every day.
So turnovers count more than points? Because touchdowns don't matter.
Touchdowns matter when they have 200 more pass attempts.
Hello.
And why do you have to throw the ball more? Thank you. Why are you throwing the ball more?
You don't have to throw the ball more.
I got a lot more to say, but I want to get Mike Hughes out of the way.
I'm waiting my turn. I have a lot to say. I'm waiting my turn.
I'm out.
Mike Hughes, what do you got?
You know, I don't mean to stir shit up, but you know, I'm looking at Ray. I see you. I'm looking at it right now. I see 5,316 yards, 43 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and that's Brady. You look at Rodgers, it's 4,115, 37 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, very solid, and 2 were in one game. So, you know, like granted, that's what that is. And I believe the other one was the first game of the season when he was just chilling. He didn't give a shit.
That was
like
week one, the first 2.
Right. He was just doing his thing. He had no preseason. He had no training camp. My biggest thing right now, what I'm looking at, though, is the validity of what this team is with or without him. And I've seen time and time again how stacked this Tampa team is. And that makes sense. So it's a very tricky award because when you see, and I'm going to wrap it up right here, McLovin, because I don't want to go on too long about it. But when I see Patrick Mahomes throw 50 touchdowns, you won the MVP award by stats. So by stats, I look at it. If we're going off of that, you have to give it to someone like Brady. But when you look at most valuable player, Randall Cobb is someone Kenny mentioned, and he hasn't really been playing. And Lazard, I'm sorry. He's a poor man's Julian Edelman. He'll never be anything more than that. And that's just because of, you know, I'm going to say it. As a white wide receiver who played the wide receiver position, literally people only think he's good because he's white. That's the only reason. If he was anybody else, no one's talking about Lazard. And Freddie, I'll stand by that because 90% of the people that I see have Lazard jerseys are white people. I've never seen anybody talking about Lazard ever in my life. So I'm a rock with that. So other than Adams and other than Jones and Dillon, there's really nothing going on there. You know, your tight end, who was an amazing tight end last year, blows out his ACL, and that's very unfortunate. And Rodgers did not miss a beat with that. So I'm gonna give it to Rodgers just because, you know, it's his last year in Green Bay. And I'll let him go on this ride. You do what you want, Savannah. It's his last year in Green Bay. It's gone. It's happening. Have your little ride. Have your little show. I hope you have a great parade because just know the end is near and we're all going to be sitting at the pity party next year. So I have a seat for you. I have a seat for Ray. I have a seat for hopefully Jay and Kenny. And I definitely have a seat for the man who left in Freddie Henderson. I got a seat for all y'all in the loser squad.
Hey, real quick, before we go on to Savannah and give her full recap, I do have one thing to say there's one stat that you managed to leave out, and I thought that is very impressive that you managed to sidestep that stat. And we all understand that the quarterback is the most important position. We all understand that the quarterback is a direct reflection on the record for the most part, and yet you failed to leave out that Aaron Rodgers is sitting on the couch in a bye with the best record in the entire league.
They have the same record.
I find that interesting that you let that one stat out because somebody's playing in the wild card against the Chiefs and somebody's sitting at home waiting to play the person.
I will say though,
it's very interesting that you let the main stat out because you're a stat tracker. You're a stat
but who won the Super Bowl last year? The wild card.
Yeah, what are we talking about last year? Can we stay in the present year?
The same record.
No, hold on. The question was this year, not last year, not the year before last. The question is this season.
So they're bad.
The question is this season,
are the Cowboys a bad team? Are they
there you go. Now you're gonna bring the Cowboys into it. Stay on
because they're a wild card
team. Come back to planet Earth and get off of planet Martian. Stay on planet Earth. Planet Earth. The question clearly states this season, who is the MVP? Yes or no? Who has the best record and on the couch chilling, watching your boy go out there play the crappy Philadelphia Eagles? And I pause with you because I am done with you. Savannah, please give me your very knowledgeable and very well thought out answer to this pertinent question. And I hope unlike Mike Hughes, who didn't understand the question, I hope you understand the question.
So I personally believe that, Aaron Rodgers is going to be MVP. But if we're just looking at stats, we're going to go completion percentage Rodgers, interception percentage Rodgers, TD to interception Rodgers, air yards a game, air yards per attempt is Rodgers, passer rating, QBR, team record, all Rodgers, right? So, but we're just going to take stats out of that. So then we're going to go to the fact that he had a makeshift offensive line. We had third string left tackle. We had a third string center. We had a second string left guard. We had a second string right guard. We had a first string was the only first string we had all season in right tackle. We lost the NFL leader in tight ends for touchdowns halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. We don't have Randall Cobb. We literally missed Zadarius Smith. We're just getting now Whitney Merciless back. Like, we are literally getting our entire team back, and Aaron Rodgers held that team on his back. Look at how the Packers looked when we didn't have Aaron Rodgers against the Chiefs. We scored 7 points. Okay, like, we're not the same team without him, whether we have the same players or not. We have lost so many people. So to say that Tom Brady did more with less is literally a lie. Aaron Rodgers
did realize Randall Cobb played 12 games.
Okay.
He didn't do much.
Yeah.
That's you said you didn't have him. He was there. The quarterback didn't throw him the ball.
I'm just talking about who we lost. Like, because we had Tanyan for a couple of the games too. Like, we lost him and then we lost Randall Cobb. There's a lot of people that we lost that are not like we had a really good defensive line. We lost Zadarius Smith for a while. We lost Merciless for a while. Like, there's a lot of people.
Do you want to talk about what Tampa lost on defense? Do we want to have that conversation?
What about an all-pro corner and Jair Alexander? What about our pickup that we got off of the Cardinals practice squad?
The Bucs literally
just of people that we literally have no names on our team. Like,
I'm sensing a beef. I like it.
Hey, Samantha had me at hello. I'm just gonna put that out there. Samantha had me at hello. I think it's phenomenal. Great job, Samantha. Very well thought out answers. Now we're gonna move on to the next topic. We're gonna move on to the next topic. Hey, what impact will Derrick Henry have this year? And just to point out, Derrick Henry wasn't having a very Derrick Henry year even before he got hurt. He played 8 games. He was playing 8 games, 219 attempts, 937 yards, but only averaging 4.3 yards. Time out. No, we're not going to go this way.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not doing no Derrick Henry slander here.
Hey, no, time out. No, I got proof, guy. Listen up.
You have no proof.
I'm going to educate you. Just
He
give me
was
1
out
second.
of the game
He's
for
top-
5
he's top-
weeks.
Time out.
He's top
No,
10
Mike.
in the NFL.
Mike. No, we're not going this
Jay.
direction. We're not. Let me finish, and then I'll give you all the go. No, I'm going to finish, and you can say whatever you want to me, but I'm going to finish. 4.8. No, time out. 4.8.
One at a time, gentlemen. One at a time.
I don't want to be here for
I'm
this.
trying to. I wasn't even done yet. I haven't even got to Freddie, so I don't know what we're talking about. I got
don't even know what we're
factual
talking
based
about,
stuff.
bro.
Listen, guys, 4.3 average, 10 touchdowns. In 2018 to 2020, Henry averaged, and I quote, 4.9, 5.1, 5.4, and now we're down to 4.3. You tell me how he's having a good Derrick Henry season, and he's got a broke foot. So the question is this. The numbers don't freaking lie, guy. He's having an off year. Everybody's having an off year. Derrick Henry's having an off year. He's having an off year. So you get a guy who's averaging 4.3 yards. Time out. Let me finish. I'm done. I got one more and I'm done. I swear to God, you're going to get all the time you want. 4.3 yards. And it's coming off of a foot injury. So how much better will he come back? When at your best, you're averaging 4.3. Are you going to contribute to the Tennessee Titans? 4.3 is what you're averaging prior to the foot injury, and I stop. Freddie, you go, and then everybody's going to get their. Okay.
Can I say?
Kenny got a question.
I got many questions.
It's not even a question. This is just one statement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry played 8 games, and he's top 10 in the NFL in rushing yards.
What a slow year.
How?
What a down year for Derrick Henry.
How dare you?
I didn't compare him against other people. I compared him to what he's done. No, come on, kid, because that's not a fair question. I compared him to what he has done, and I gave you the numbers: 4.9, 5.1, 5.4. Now this year, in 8 games, 4.3. I'm only saying specifically what I said was for what Derrick Henry does, he has having an off year, and the numbers don't lie, Kenny.
I'm counting.
I believe that you saying that he's having an off year, but when you compare to everyone else in the regular season, like if he's going to continue to compete and have the numbers that every other player is putting up, it might be an off year for him, but it's still a good year for him compared to everyone else that's competing.
An off year for him with half a season is still better than 20-something other running backs.
So come back off injury, you think he's going to be that much of a help? I mean, maybe I don't know.
Didn't Derrick Henry
injury? That's a pretty significant injury.
Jay, am I wrong on that? Is that me capping? In 8 games, he had more yards than your boy Zeke.
Man, come on now. You know, Mike. Hey, look, you know Zeke's a little crap. I'm not even saying the word I want to say. That's not really fair comparison because Zeke is hurting bad. Zeke's bad. I don't even like Zeke right now. To be honest with you, I don't like Zeke. I like the Zeke from his rookie year.
Oh, see,
I don't like
now
Zeke
you're getting off topic, sir. I just had a question. I just needed a yes or no answer to it.
Mike,
you hit his scab. Mike, you picked his scab, Mike.
To answer your question, Zeke had 1,002
you got to keep
yards.
that same energy.
Derrick Henry had 937 yards.
Right.
That's the answer to your question.
I get you. I get you. I get it. I'm with you, Kenny.
Derrick.
Freddie, Derrick Henry.
No, let me answer the question.
No, Freddie. The question is, Derrick Henry, what impact is he going to have on the Titans coming back off injury?
He's going to be an impact just because of the thought process that he's a threat. You know, you have the game plan for Derrick Henry. If you don't do that, then he's going to eat you alive. I mean, I understand, he had the foot injury coming back. We haven't seen him since then, but I'm pretty sure, these last couple of weeks he have been ramping it up in practice. He have been working out. He's still in shape. He knew that if he came back, it would have been in the playoffs. So I do believe, just on the standpoint of him being a, threat that runs down the middle, that they had the game plan for him. If they don't, either he's going to eat or the outside or the receiver's going to eat, the tight end's going to eat. So he is going to be a threat. That don't mean he's going to put up 110 rushing yards, something like that, but he will be a threat, and he will help this Tennessee Titans however far they do go on this upcoming weekend.
Hey, before I go to Ray, and I just have one question, and Kenny, it's really kind of best, I guess, because I want to better understand you. Dante Foreman in 9 games is averaging 4.3 yards as well. So my question is this: when we get Travis Henry back, do you think he's going to, in order to be, if they're both averaging the same 4.3 yards per game, my question is this: in order for Henry to have a much bigger impact than what he currently had when he left, do you think he's going to average more than 4.3 when he comes back in the playoffs?
Eric Henry.
I don't know that because it all depends on how healthy he is. But I think Freddie made the most important point is the fact that you have to game plan for him. Like you have to stack the box for him because you have to give him that type of respect. Because if he's, a healthy Derrick Henry is able to break one off at any point in time and take it to the house. So that makes life easier for the guys on the outside because you're stacking the box. So that's going to open up things for Julio Jones. It's going to open up things, for AJ. I can't think his last name. But anyway, all those guys in tight end, AJ Brown and the tight ends. So I think he's one of those guys, even as a decoy, that he can still be effective as a decoy to make to open up the offense for the other guys. How effective he's going to be, I don't know, because again, we don't know how healthy he is. But I think just as a decoy, that will help them offensively.
Hey, to Dustin Reese's comment, at 4.3, if he stays at 4.3 all 17 games, he may break, or 18 games, he may break the 2,000, but it'd be very, very close. I don't think he does. I don't think he does break 2,000 at 4.3. Right, he'd have to up his yards per average. But we're going to go to Ray.
You have to account for the games he's going to go over 200 yards. That's the thing. And he had
I don't know. He didn't go over 200 prior to injury. He didn't do that.
He had 182. He had 113.
182 is not 200.
143, 130.
143 is not 200. I can count, Mike. Can you count? What do they teach you in the Chicago public system?
They don't teach us behind. They don't teach us nothing.
Mike, I'm sorry. I understand. I will listen. My wife is a teacher. I will have her call you and get you on a program. Until then, I got to put you on pause, and I will come back to you when it's your turn. Ray, please put on, Mike. You're going to get all the time you want. Just hold on a minute.
I didn't say nothing,
hold on,
bro.
Mike.
I didn't say nothing, bro. Jason.
We're coming back to you, Mike. I'm going to give you all the time you need. Just go on pause for a temporary moment. Ray, I got to get you on this. Derrick Henry, what does he do, man? He's coming back.
I think he's huge. I think he's huge for the people in the team in the locker room, the players in the locker room to see him there. I think from a defense, I think Freddie made a great point as far as game planning for him. I was planning to share that or mention that as well. I think he impacts all of that. And I think they are a much better team with him. I think if you come in and, Foreman is there, that's a great second option that you now have, similar to what Green Bay has. But no, I think he'll be huge. I think he'll be integral. And if he's healthy, I think he'll play a huge role. I also would say, just to your point, you keep bringing up average, but he did run for 100 yards 5 straight games, and he matched his receptions total in 8 games that he had all of last year. So he showed he can do more than just run the ball that I don't think we knew. So
I knew that. Trust me, I knew that. I was just going off.
Why'd you say it, bro? Then why'd you say it if you knew that?
Mike, I just think he's actually.
Mike, I will come to Chicago. I know where you live, and I will hunt you down like the dog you are. You be quiet and just give me your damn stats.
Hey, you ain't getting in my neighborhood.
What do you think? Oh no, Kenny, I'm not past you. I just kind of know. We've already said where you're going from with that. That's why I went to you first. Mike, what you got, brother, man? Derrick Henry, I know you're going to be in favor of him. Just give me your nutshell answer before I go to Savannah and get a long-winded diatribe. What you got, brother?
Man, first of all, about the Chicago public school thing, you're right, Jay, and that's the problem. They don't teach us shit. I have to learn this stuff on my own. So bear with me when I don't have all the stats at hand. With that being said, sir, and 2, first of all, please come through my neighborhood. I want to see how far down the block you make it.
Let's see. I've already been to Cabrini Green. How much more do you want me to go? Do you want me to school you? Because I've been to Cabrini Green. I've been to Washington, D.C. Let me tell you something. When it comes to the hood, I am the fucking hood. Pardon my friend.
Jay McLovin.
Pardon my friend. I don't want to say the F-bomb. I don't want to say the F-bomb, but you don't know me, sir. I will school you. I will school you like nothing you've ever seen.
Okay, you going to school my team?
Tell me. Listen, I'm right. My name is Cracker, boy. Cracker. Okay, get it straight.
That's not okay.
Hey, gentlemen, let's get this back on.
Jay.
Don't know me. I've been a Cabrini Green. You wouldn't have 2 seconds, Cabrini Green. You're skinny and your butt is bootylicious. They will screw you over.
You be living in my
Okay.
anyway,
Let's get back to normal
I see you
program.
in the chat. But
Hey, listen, I know all about Chicago, Mike. I'm with you. But just tell me your thought process on Derrick Henry, please.
I think it's hard. In all seriousness, though, it's one of those things where I've played with a that's facts, John. I played with a lot of big guys coming off Achilles injuries, foot injuries, toe injuries, and it's one of the biggest things. Damian, what you know about it? But it's something to where I don't know how healthy he's really gonna be, but I will say this: the guy's a different breed. So he's not your average big man. He's not your average guy that you're gonna be able to say, okay, this guy's gonna go out there and we have to baby him, Saquon Barkley, or other people, to the point to where it's like his body is going to shut down on him. I believe. You see this man train. If you watch the workout videos in off seasons, this guy has like 500-pound weights strapped to his thigh or strapped to his waist while he's doing pull-ups. Like the man's just different. He's built different. So I think it's going to be effective in a big way. Normally, I would say that I think it's his body's going to let down on him, but I think Derrick is 1 in a million. Damian.
All right. And by the way, I got Tennessee. I picked Tennessee to go to the Super Bowl. Just so you know. So I'm hoping that Derrick Henry will have that impact. I really do. That's what I'm counting on, actually. All right, Savannah, give me your diatribe. Floor is yours.
Okay, I think Henry's going to make an impact. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a huge impact, but I think every game that he plays, whether he has like 60 yards, 150 yards, 200 yards, I think he's always making an impact, because you have to think, like you guys said, you have to make a game plan for Derrick Henry. So you have to think that he's probably going to get the ball most of the time, and then that sets them up for the pass, and then they can have big plays. There's just – you have to put your main focus on Derrick Henry when he's in the game, no matter how healthy you think he's going to be, because he's going to get the ball a lot. So I think no matter how many yards he has or not, he's going to make a big impact on the overall total of the game.
Hey, Jay.
And speaking of what she's saying, real quick, so based on that logic, which I think is obviously good logic, if you put somebody like Dante Foreman in there as a change of pace guy or whatever, then do you think you have more of an element of surprise, or can mix things up to where you can get him more openings based on that, because they're not really so much gearing on him?
Yeah, definitely. You naturally know that Henry's going to get the ball like almost all the time. You don't always know that with him, so it's kind of like you use the pass to open up the run. With the Titans, you use the run to open up the pass. Like, it just depends on who's in the backfield and how you're going to use them.
Right. Which is why I think that makes for a really hell of a 1-2 punch going into the playoffs, honestly. Because your game planning is so different based on those two backs alone, which is crazy.
Hey, Jay, let's take a quick commercial break.
Yes, sir. Let's do that.
And we'll transition into the NBA side of things, all right?
You could have said that in the chat, by the way, but go ahead. Absolutely.
Jay McLovin.
That wasn't even a long break. That was like one sip worth, but okay.
I caught you sipping. What you sipping on?
I just told you before the show, Jack Daniels and Coke. Leave me alone. It's my vices.
That's why we're so aggressive today, sir. It all makes sense now. I understand.
Hey, listen. All right. So, all right. Let's transition into the NBA hot takes. Chicago versus Memphis in the finals. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm giving a shout out to your boy, Mike Hughes. I will say this. Chicago beat Brooklyn 2 times. So are people who are getting on the Brooklyn bandwagon, because they did have a good game. I'm not going to say, hey, Brooklyn played a hell of a game. Nobody – listen, Kyrie didn't play on them, but Harden and Durant, hey, I got it, man. They had a hell of a game. But listen, that's still one game. They got them 2-1. So let's not jump off the Chicago bandwagon quite so soon just yet. I got Chicago and Memphis in the finals. I got Memphis and Chicago both when less than 100% find ways to win games. And I think Ja and DeMar, I think DeMar are playing at a different level. So I got DeMar Rosen playing at a different level. So, and John Morant's playing at a different level. But I definitely got Chicago and Memphis in the finals. That's my NBA hot take. Freddie, what's yours?
I appreciate you, Jay.
Hey, I know you do. I love you too, man. It's all good.
Here we go. Here we go.
Freddie, don't you say the Lakers are going to make a comeback.
You are not.
You say they're going to make a comeback, Freddie. I'm cutting you off, and I don't have that power.
I want one different take that isn't LA based just this week.
We're done.
Whoa.
We're done.
Mm-hmm.
Can you say that a little louder? I didn't hear you.
One more time for the people in the back. I was buffering.
We're done. It's over. Complete. No more. We cannot win. No championship.
I love to hear it.
We can't win a round in the playoffs. Hell, I don't even know we can win 5 games in a row.
Can't even win 2.
While Russell Westbrook is a Laker.
Don't do that.
I want him off my damn team.
Get out.
I want him gone.
So bad.
And for the people to say that he's not a problem, the stats are very telling that he's a problem.
He's shooting the same percentage that he's shot in all his entire career from
so
2
hold on,
and 3
Kenny. Hold on, Kenny. Let me finish, please. So he started off turning the ball over at a very high clip. That's not a problem. It's okay. It's not Russ's fault. The last 4 games, he's combined for 23 points, and he shot 8 for 40. 8 for 40.
What was his turnovers?
Yeah, he corrected the turnovers, but he's jacking up all these shots, playing little or no defense.
10 shots. That's 10 shots a game. Go ahead.
And basically,
it was 3 games, 40 shots.
Basically, being another version of Dwight Howard with no defense on the court means nothing. He's let an undrafted rookie on yesterday and Austin Reeves have a better game than him. He got to go, man. I'm very much in agreement with that. I'm talking. He showed the LeBron, AD, and the Lakers all these sexy numbers. They're sexy. All these triple doubles. But guess what? They failed to look at, he turned the ball over. He turned the ball over. He shoot the ball badly. Man, we're done, man. You can't win with this dude. There's a reason why Kevin Durant left. There's a reason why Paul George left. There's a reason why Harden left.
When were they on the Lakers?
I'm about him as a teammate. If you listen, Jay said, when you come to listening, if you would listen, you would understand. There's a reason why.
The more the Lakers take a pooch, the better I feel about the Rockets in rebuild mode. You made me feel so good about my Rockets right now, knowing that you're screwing the pooch and dead on the vine and have no future right now because you ain't got no draft picks. It's beautiful. But Ray, let's move on to you. Ray, what is your NBA hot take?
I'll be quick. The Memphis Grizzlies will have the best record in the NBA at the end of the season.
Amen. Wow. I agree with that. I do. Yeah. Okay. Amen. Kenny?
Well, I was going to touch on Freddie's point, but I don't feel like wasting my time.
Leave it in a box.
Yeah, I don't feel like wasting my time. It's time for the offense for the New York Knicks to run through R.J. Barrett and not Julius Randle.
Okay.
R.J. Barrett has showed over the last few games that he's starting to really blossom and find his rhythm and the way he's playing the game. And to me, the Knicks offense has been running better when he's the focal point of the offense. So it's time for R.J. Barrett to be the focal point of the offense and for Julius Randle to take a step back and stop ISOing the guy because he can't pass and he's only going to his left hand.
All right. Mike Hughes?
I think, last night, and Jay, you kind of touched on it, was really funny to me. It was really funny to me. It's hilarious because I'm watching what the Bucks are doing to Golden State right now, and no one's saying a word. But it's totally perfectly fine. The second the Bulls, God forbid, lose a game after playing the same team 3 times in a month, and we won the first 2. Oh, God forbid we drop the third one without Alex Caruso, without Patrick Williams, without Brown. I'm sorry. Bulls Nation, it's our fault. We are horrible. We're going back to the play-in. and the season's over. That's the consensus that I'm getting because Kyrie Irving was 9 points.
Yeah, stop it, Mike. You capping now. Stop.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's ridiculous to me to think that. So here's what I'm gonna say, and here's my hot take for it: is that I don't think Kyrie Irving impacts them at all. I don't think at the end of the day it's going to. Ray, you gotta let me speak on this one.
I didn't say nothing.
I don't think
it's funny. He won't be able to let you speak, but when I speak, I always hear you say something.
Well, because here's the difference. Funny. I speak for a minute, you speak for 2 hours, and then now.
Oh my God, it's 2 hours of hell.
But
I'm still recuperating. I gave birth. She's already in the CIU unit. Right now, I'm getting baby clothes. That's how long he spoke for. It was retarded. But anyway, Mike Hughes, I got to get to Savannah. So wrap this up.
Right. My biggest thing is I don't think it changes the identity of what they are. I think they will always be a conference finals team, but I don't think they are still deep enough to be able to go in a consistent basis, especially without Kyrie in home. I think that's going to be a big deal for them. And obviously you won this game in Chicago, but like we said earlier, Chicago's taken 2 games that were both in New York. And the biggest thing to me is looking at it from that point of it is, it's going to come down to what Kyrie Irving wants to do with the vaccination. And I think that's honestly what the season is going to come down to for the East.
All right, Savannah, what you got, girl?
Well, obviously you guys couldn't tell I'm a Bucks fan, so.
No, I had no idea, but I thought you just got that at the what do you call it, the Goodwill, like everybody else. But okay, yeah, whatever. Hey, whatever floats your boat.
But I honestly can see it's surprising, I feel like, but I can see Memphis or Utah coming out of the West. I feel like their teams, I feel like Utah's kind of been like.
You lost me at Utah. I'm sorry. You lost me at Utah. I don't know what you're smoking. I know what I'm drinking.
Listen,
I know what you're smoking when you said Utah.
I feel like they can do well when it comes to the playoffs. Like, I feel like what I was about to say is I feel like Memphis has been having some really convincing wins recently, and the Jazz haven't. But I feel like when the Jazz make the playoffs, like, that's the time that they shine. I feel like I can see them coming out of the West, and I like.
The Jazz haven't shined in the playoffs since they played the Chicago Bulls back in the early 90s. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're the lost right now. What are you talking about?
I live in the 90s. I remember Utah Jazz in the 90s, and they haven't been relevant since Stockton.
I think the question is, though, the real question is, like, what is going to be the difference? What's the deciding factor into why this year they're going to be better in the playoffs? Because they always come up short. What is the change?
I just personally feel like they can do better in the playoffs than the regular season. Like,
do you think that's who do you think that's on? Like, is that on Rudy or is that on Donovan?
No, I feel like you have to put a lot on Rudy. Like, I feel like Donovan does like what he should. I feel like he plays well. I feel like you need to put it on Rudy. I feel like if he doesn't play well.
When Gobert went down and they brought in Whiteside, you saw how they struggled at the paint.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big thing for those guys.
I just think
Rudy is who he is,
teams in the West.
Listen, I don't think they can do any of that. I'm just saying, I believe in them. I think that
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I just think, right. I just think it's going to be hard.
But I think that they can do it. I think that they're the team. If any of them are going to pull it out, if there's an underdog for going into the playoffs, I think they're going to be the team that comes out as the underdog.
So Savannah, let me ask you a question real quick. So do you think that Utah is better than Phoenix and better than Golden State?
No.
Okay.
No, I cannot say that they're better. I don't agree with that. Yeah. I just think that they could come out. Like, if there's going to be a team that upsets any of like the 1 seeds or 2 seeds, I think it's going to be.
So you're saying Utah is a sleeper?
Yes.
Yeah. It's the same concept of Memphis and Chicago and
Memphis,
Memphis and Chicago aren't sleepers.
No, Ray, but let's be real. They were sleepers. We're just forcing our way into
I think Memphis, you can call them a sleeper as well.
Come on, Ray.
I'm done.
Ray.
These will be addressed.
All right, listen. We're at the hour 32 mark. We gotta move this bad boy along. We still got more topics to get through. And as you can see, Nate the Great, who didn't get the memo that you're not allowed to just pop into shows without prior notice, but that's all right. I'm gonna make an allocation for Nate because Nate, for whatever reason,
better be careful.
Very important bombshell. Nate, do you have something to say about this topic? Go ahead. I'll give you the floor.
Actually, I wanted to point out something that you said earlier. You were talking about Utah. you were talking about Utah, about what they haven't done since the 90s, but
Nate, you would have been around in the 90s to even know that. So where are you even coming from a place of knowledge?
I didn't say shit.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let Nate finish. Nate, go ahead. What's your point, Nate?
Last week when I was bringing up the NFL topic, and the reason why I had Jacksonville pull up the Indianapolis Colts, beat the Indianapolis Colts, is because the Jaguars have won the past 7 home games.
How does that tie in with Utah, Nate? I'm sorry. You lost me and go, and you didn't collect $200 damn. So what's the point, Nate? We got a long time to go, and I don't appreciate
your point about the prior history conversation.
Hey, Nate, don't let him fumble you like that. Be great, bro. I believe in you.
He's not. It's the whole point. Listen, if you're going to tell me the Utah Jazz of right now or anywhere as close to Utah Jazz in the 90s, you're smoking crack. And if you think that team has any validity in the playoffs this year, you're smoking even more crack, and you moved on to methamphetamines. So what are you trying to say?
People call me crazy last week.
Okay, we're moving on. I'm sorry. We got to move on. Nate the Great, I appreciate you. We'll catch you on the next go-around. And I move. Grizzlies are they the best team in the West? Grizzlies the best team in the West. I think, listen, if you look what the Memphis Grizzlies have been through with COVID and everything else, these cats are fighting, scrapping. John Morant's ceiling is just so incredibly high. And he is, obviously, we know he has hit the superstar level. I think Memphis Grizzlies, like you said, given that they're moving up, I don't think they're taking anybody for granted. When they don't have the right guy, or when they have guys out, they still find ways to win. And when a team finds ways to win, they can do great things. I think Memphis Grizzlies are moving up. They're not the best team in the West. That still belongs to Phoenix. And obviously Golden State are still up there. But these cats are moving up the standings, and it's amazing to watch. Freddie, go ahead. I'm done. Freddie, you're go, brother.
Listen, man, Memphis is like one of the deepest teams in the NBA from top to bottom, from their Ja Morant to their 15th man on the bench. I believe that grit and grind, they still have that. They still have that mindset. We played another day and they whooped the Lakers' ass, which is not hard because we're getting whooped by the Kings, G League teams. I mean, it's just that bad. But but this Memphis team, man, is tough. Ja Morant, like you said, he is in that superstar status. But I still think they're one piece away from going to that, to taking the team to the finals, to winning, going to the finals, coming out the West. When I look at a team like Golden State, who, they are having, they are getting mollywopped tonight, like Mike said. But, you have Klay Thompson, you have Steph Curry. You've finally seen Andrew Wiggins step up at his own, handling his weight, holding his weight down. That's a team to beat. You do have Phoenix with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. We know the run that team went on last year. And then you do have to show love to the Utah Jazz because we see the type of monster Donovan Mitchell do turn into the playoffs. The only question with him is is the others going to help him, or will he be just a one-man show? I don't think Memphis is there yet. I can see them going to the Western Conference Finals this year. I just think they're one piece away. And I'm not sure if that piece is a wing or what, but I believe they're just one piece away from taking that next step.
Before we go to Ray, the problem I have with the Utah Jazz.
So hey, hold on.
The problem with the Utah Jazz is they don't have grit.
Take it up time, but you do most of the talking.
No. Utah Jazz don't have grit. The Utah Jazz don't have grit. They're not battle tested, and they don't have the next man up mentality. So when one guy goes down, they're not battle tested. But anyway, I just want to say that. Ray, your point. Go ahead, brother.
They have 2 6 men of the year, but yeah.
They don't have grit. There's a difference.
But they do have next man up.
Really? What did Whiteside do for him? Really? Did he do a whole lot? I'm just asking.
One guy. That's one guy.
Ray, I want to get Ray's opinion on this because he's important. Ray.
I never once said Ray was. Ooh, Jay McLovin, give me so tight.
No, I agree.
Brady Green, mofo.
I will
settle it out there at the stoplight. Let's go. Ray, I'm sorry. Ray, I apologize.
If
Ray,
the question is, are the Grizzlies the best team in the West today? My answer is yes. I saw what they did to Golden State. Granted, Golden State got blown out again here tonight. I've watched Phoenix a good amount, and I like Phoenix, but I see Memphis doing this right now without Dylan Brooks and without other people that would be in the lineup to make them even deeper. I agree they're a team of a bunch of no names, and I talked pretty bad about them maybe a month and a half ago in the group chat, and they made me out to be a liar. So I fully, as of today, I think they are the best team in the West. However, once the Warriors get their rotation together, once Clay gets back to being Clay, when the playoffs hit, I think it's a different animal. And I think a lot of those guys have not been on that stage yet. So I don't think they necessarily will come out of the West when it comes to that time of the year. But as it stands today, I think nobody wants to play them today. And that, especially at the level that John Morant's playing, I saw it in the chat. It was a question. I believe he currently is the MVP. Based on what I'm seeing with that team, with the team people that have been out, with the way in which they're performing and winning decisively, I think he is the MVP. So I definitely think they have an opportunity to have a great season. I told you I think they'll have the best record, but I think in the playoffs, certain things will come to the surface and it'll be a little bit different. But right now, they are the best team in the West.
And we will get that question in the topics for next show because we need to talk about the MVP because I really think Joker is majorly under. I think he's majorly being overlooked. And I think it's crazy and it's a disrespectful thing that what he's doing this
year.
His
team not winning.
What is that so we'll talk about that. We'll put that in the topics for next conversation because I think we do need to spend some time there. Kenny, what you got, brother?
I think is the hottest team in the West, but they're not the best team in the West. I think they're on a really hot tear right now. But I think to Ray's point, when it comes time to the playoffs, when it comes time to, when you're playing the same team night after night, as opposed to playing the entire schedule, it's a totally different animal. And, your tendencies and your weaknesses will all get exposed. And we have not seen this team perform on that stage yet. The one time that they were on that stage, they want to play in. They beat the Golden State Warriors one game and then they were out. So they just had a cup of coffee in the playoffs. So to say that a team that's gone from having a cup of coffee in the playoff is the best team in the West, I think is a little bit of a stretch. But I will say this, like Ray said, that's a team that nobody's going to want to see come playoff time because John Morant is playing on an MVP level. He's, putting the league on notice that he's that dude, and he's going at everybody's neck and at everybody's head. He went at Steph Curry. He went at his head the other night and just, put on a show. So I just think he's just elevating his game to the highest level. So as a result, they are going to be one of those teams that you have to be afraid of or you have to be concerned about. But I would pick Golden State and I would pick Phoenix before I would pick Memphis.
Real quick, Kenny, to your point, out of the teams, the top 4 teams in the West, if it comes down to a last-second shot, I think I want the ball in his hands more than any of them. More than Chris Paul, more than Steph Curry. I want the ball in Morant's hands because he keeps getting it done, and you can't stop him from getting to the basket.
I would probably go with Devin Booker. I probably would go with Devin Booker. I'm gonna
go with Steph.
No, I wouldn't go with Steph because Steph hasn't been the guy, hasn't been a closer like that. He's missed a lot of shots down for.
All right, we're gonna move on to Mike Hughes. And what's your opinion of Memphis? Are they the best team in the West or coming up in the West?
Right. I think as of right now, constructed and me and Alana Trapp, the host of the All Women Show, y'all should check that out. But it's definitely something that we've been priding about that since the beginning of the season. Jim, Randy, Daniel, and everybody else, we've been saying Ja's coming, and I was one of the few people, and it's the Derrick Rose fan in me that said I would have took Ja number 1 over Zion, and I'll stand by that because for a couple of years I looked like an idiot. But the tables have turned, and Mike Hughes is on top, and I'm rocking with it. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna pick Memphis. I'm a believer of people believing in the moment. I do believe they're good. I think they're great. But I look at what the Phoenix Suns are doing right now, and I see they're 31-9. They just went to the finals. They have all of the experience of the world. So when we're talking about the actual playoffs, it's not Ja that I have a feeling with I don't know what we're going to get. I know what we're going to get with Ja. It's everybody else around him, other than Steven Adams, really, that I question. I don't know how Dylan Brooks is going to perform, because last year he had moments where he looked great in the playoffs, and then he had moments where he didn't. There's a lot of guys on this team that are journeymen. There are a lot of guys that are young. There are a lot of guys that just haven't had those opportunities. So I love them. I think they're great, and it's a great Cinderella story for the city of Memphis, and for John Morant too, who's been doubted a lot of his life, and that's why I love him. But Phoenix really did solve their problems in bringing in McGee. They brought in every single problem, and they fed into that. They understood the reason they lost in the finals last year was because Chris Paul got finals happy. He felt like he won a championship the second he got to the stage, and he didn't have to put in any more work. Devin Booker got satisfied. Everyone got satisfied. Monty Williams will even admit to being satisfied. So now I feel like they have that drive to go and finish the job, and I feel like that's what puts them over everybody else.
Well, I will say this, and you can't deny it. Because they've missed people throughout the playoff or throughout the season due to COVID and various number of injuries, whatever. I'm saying is that team from top to bottom are getting game experience, and in that game experience, they are finding ways to win games in that game experience. So that whole team, what I'm saying, the whole team is gaining very valuable experience, and they are learning to win, even when their top guys aren't there. I'm just saying that's a pretty.
Ray, I definitely hear you, Jay, but I think my key point was really piggybacking off Ray is. Regular season experience can only take you so far.
COVID all right, what do you got, Savannah? You want to wrap this topic up for us, please?
Yeah, I think Memphis is a very good team. I don't want to say that they're the best team. I think that they can hang with the best. I think that if, obviously you saw playing Golden State. I think that they can hang with the best, but right now they're not the best. I still think Phoenix is they're on their way to another finals trip. I think that they look really good, and I think they look really strong. And I think Memphis is getting up there, and they're playing well, and they're closing out games with decent margins. I can't personally say that they're the best right now. I think that they could get there though.
All right. Hey, super quick, because we got one more topic because we're going to skip one. But this one that we're skipping, I just want to paraphrase it real super fast and want quick answers on this. Clay, Kyrie, and the effect. My thing is this. Kyrie, if he can only play in away games, right? Do you think it's better? Do you think it's better that Brooklyn tanks it and goes down so they can get the away games so Kyrie can be more effective versus trying to stay where they are, where they lose the effectiveness of Kyrie? Because I think that Brooklyn is hurting themselves in the top two and not having Kyrie. Yes or no? Do you think it's better for them to go down to the lower levels to get the effectiveness of Kyrie? Real quick. Freddie, what do you think?
I just want to kind of update you that I don't know if you've seen it. There are optimism that Kyrie will become a full-time player.
No, the last thing I saw on Kyrie, and that was today, that the municipalities of New York will not allow that. So he still cannot play in home games, only on the away games. Next point.
But they are saying that the Brooklyn Nets
aggressive, Jay.
Will be
no, it's New York. I saw it today. I literally watched ESPN.
Listen, Jay. You know what?
Today, Freddie.
I'm sorry.
Freddie, what is your source?
This is what they reported, Jay, that the Brooklyn Nets will be willing to pay the fines to let him become a full-time player.
Okay.
I
didn't hear that. I didn't hear that at all today on ESPN.
No, Woj reported. Hold on, because I'm gonna pull it up because Woj said that
it don't matter, right?
Yeah. Hold on.
It's cool they're willing to pay the fines, but legally it's not gonna happen.
I can't imagine how that works.
Let me see if I can find it.
Kyrie's gonna leave the arena in handcuffs. That's crazy, bro. That would be the wildest shit I ever seen in my life. Bro.
I can't imagine them letting an unvaccinated guy just come out there and pay a fine to be unvaccinated.
So
I don't know.
Hold on. So according to Woj, he said to be clear on the hypothetical ability for a team to pay a fine for an unvaccinated player to play in the marketplace, the local ordinance forbid. NBA mail to organizations on September 1st says that teams must follow local laws and players who don't comply won't be able to play.
That's what I'm trying to say. The NBA can fine you, but the local laws in New York say you can't play.
I'm sorry, Jay McLovin. I was wrong on that situation. But to answer your question, I believe Klay Thompson will be a bigger impact.
But that's not what I was asking. But okay, fine.
Hey, what was your question, Jay? What was your question?
My question was, do you think it's better for Brooklyn to go down in the seeding so they can benefit off of having Kyrie Irving? Yes or no?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I just know when you have, there's not going to be too many teams in the playoffs that's going to be able to beat a Kevin Durant and James Harden if they're clicking of all, on all cylinders. Now, when you go against a team like a Chicago Bulls or Milwaukee Bucks, or then
It was just a yes or no. I don't get it.
Yes, Jay, that's the answer you want. Yes.
Thank you. God, for the love of Jesus, I love you, Freddie. I love you, but damn, I just want a yes or no. Ray,
I wish
what do
we
you
could
think?
get out of you.
Is it more? Do you think it's more beneficial, or yes or no?
Is it more beneficial for
them to go down to, like, let's say the lower seeds benefit to the away games to have Kyrie versus maintaining a top seed but not having Kyrie for obviously the majority of the games?
No, I think yes, I think it's definitely more beneficial for them to drop down to having 4 more games. They're a better team when he's there. And actually, when you look at the stats, they're 11-11 at home. They're 15-4 away anyway. So they play better away from home. And that was even before Kyrie started coming back. So
exactly, I agree with you.
Why
you don't get on Ray for him not just saying yes or no?
Because you're going for an hour. Kenny, what do you got, brother? Yes or no?
Freddie be hating.
No, I'm gonna say no, because in the long run, all you're getting is one extra game. So whether it's home on the road, it's only one extra game that you're getting.
Right.
So I don't know if that's going to make that.
Having Kyrie in a game 7 wouldn't matter.
No, I'm saying
I do agree with that.
Yeah, I'm saying that if you're only
that extra
getting
game's
one,
huge.
Well, it depends. Well, not if you win it in 6. So
and if you win in 6 is great, but you would rather have him in a game 7 than not.
You would again, but
hey,
if
you go all day on this one. So,
yeah,
but
the ideal is to win as quickly as possible. So
right. So Kenny's answer is no. That it's more beneficial to stay where they are
into a deep series.
Okay.
So
Mike Hughes, what do you got, brother?
I think it is more beneficial, and that's the biggest reason. Everyone in the group chat, everyone on ASAP, everyone everywhere is, the Bulls are in first. I don't want to be in first. I do not want to go to New York more times than not. We've beaten them twice without Kyrie, and the one time that he did play, even though he didn't do shit, it was still felt. That presence was felt. It was understood. You had to guard Kyrie. You had to put main focus on Kyrie. And we saw them have 2 very young studs in that starting lineup. They were both rookies. They flourished. I don't know the longevity of them being great, but as of right now, if we're looking at it, they look great. LaMarcus Aldridge looks great. All these other guys, Patty Mills, they all look fine. So I would rather have them, if I'm Brooklyn, I would rather have that extra game with Kyrie. And Kenny, I hear your point, win as quickly as possible, but Milwaukee, not Minnesota, Jesus, Miami, Chicago, those are teams that are valid, and those are teams that you're going to have to go through.
Just a yes or no, Jay. Just saying, but
it is more. And to be fair to Freddie, because I don't want to be unfair to Freddie. No, Freddie has a valid point. I did ask for a yes or no, so we're gonna move on. Freddie, I apologize to you on public air. Savannah, yes or no, please. Don't get me in trouble. I'm on very thin ice right now.
I'm gonna say no. That's
okay.
I can explain if you want me to, but I'm just gonna say no.
Hey, listen, we'll have another episode. We'll call it the Savannah episode, okay? But for right now, yes or no. Appreciate you. Love you. All right. We're going to move on to the last topic, all right? And I don't even – Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. I believe that was the last topic. What do we make of this? They're trying to trade them. They're packaging them up. Do you think that's a good thing to package them? I mean, do you think it's going to happen or what? What's your opinion?
Is that like a real thing?
Huh?
Are they actually trying to trade Tobias too?
Yeah. So here's the deal, right? So I'll give you an example. So Ben Simmons was in serious talks with the Atlanta Hawks, and that was good. Looked like they were having a really good talk. And then Philadelphia came in and tried to throw it to Tobias Harris to attach it with that. And once they did that, basically Atlanta said, "F you. No, we're not paying $74 million for this combo." So I think right now that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to package Harris with Simmons. Do you see that to come into fruition anywhere at all in the league? I say no. I think they're better off trying to keep them separate if they're going to try to do that trade. But right now we're talking about being packaged. Do you think that's going to happen in this future? Freddie, I'm going to let you start it off and we'll go around the horn.
Listen here, man. It's going to be hard to get the package that contract, for anybody, Right now, Philadelphia is wasting Joel Embiid's career. Let's call it what it is. You're talking about a big man who's having a great season this year, by the way. But this is another year that will be wasted, and we know the longevity of big men. Like Joel Embiid, the size of him is rare. They are wasting his prime. They're asking for too much for Ben Simmons. They think he's a dime piece when he's really a lower tier right about now. I mean, let's just be honest. They ask. I mean, so Dale Morey, he don't like losing on trades, but I believe this will be a trade that he will lose on because it has been shown that Ben Simmons is willing to sit as long as it takes. I mean, it is what it is, and it's just going to be interesting to see, these next couple of weeks about, to come to the trade deadline. What happens in Philadelphia? Does he remain the 76ers until the summer? It's going to be interesting.
All right, we're gonna move on to Ray. What do you think, Ray?
No, that's not gonna happen. There's no way anybody's taking both of those deals. Maybe if you can make it some kind of 3 or 4 team deal and spread it out. But to bring back the money and bring back the talent, Philly, I don't know what they're doing. I think they might need to go ahead and get rid of Elton Brand and Daryl Moore because they're clueless. They're wasting the healthy years of Joel Embiid. This is probably the healthiest he's been, and they're blowing it because they want to play, figure out who has the biggest appendage. Like, this is dumb. They can't trade both of them, and they just need to move on. And the team's in a playoff position. I don't know why there's all this drama, but it's annoying. So, yeah.
All right, Mr. Kenny, what you got, brother?
Yeah, to me, it just makes no sense. Like, like Ray said, you're not trying to trade one max contract. You're trying to trade 2 max contracts. That's almost impossible to do. You'd have to, to Ray's point, you'd have to have multiple teams. This would be 3 and 4 or 5 players that would be moved in this deal. You need trade partners to make this happen. It just makes no sense. And not only that, you're trading the guy that's probably the most consistent. You're probably after Joel Embiid, you would be trading your most consistent player in Tobias Harris. The guy doesn't, he plays other than dealing with COVID, this guy is almost one of those Iron Man guys who always shows up night in and night out. You know what you're going to get from him night in and night out. He's low maintenance, you know what I'm saying? Low ego, easy to get along with. Everyone enjoys playing with him. So to try to include him in a deal just makes no sense. You need to just go ahead and cut your losses. To Ray's other point, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're not going to get a blockbuster deal for a guy that's considered to be damaged goods. I don't care how you try to package this guy. He's damaged goods in this league. Not only is he not playing, but the last time you saw him play, you saw him shrink on the biggest stage. You saw this guy not even want to shoot layups. So to think that you're going to get maximum value for this guy is just unrealistic. And they and this is my last point. You guys had a meeting. You had Rich Paul come and you guys sat down and had a meeting to talk about the issue, and you basically dug your heels in. And again, you're just doing what's not in the best interest of your club in the long run. So you're just going to have to take the best deal that you could get. You did the same thing with Harden. You took the best deal that you could get for Harden. It wasn't a great deal, but you had to take it because he was not going to play. It was just it's a losing value and it's a losing asset. You just got to move the guy and cut your losses. You're not going to be able to trade him and Tobias Harris. Impossible.
So Kenny,
not together for sure.
Hold on, Jay. There is a way. The Lakers are, you get Westbrook off your hands.
All right, we're going to move on that point. Mike Hughes, what you got, brother? We are not entertaining the Lakers and their dead team.
They're going to trade for Westbrook? That's what you
Yeah, I'll take the boss of
Westbrook. Kenny, don't do it. Don't even ask.
You're opening up Pandora's box right now.
I'll take Cameron Payne over Russell Westbrook right now.
I had to indulge him. Sorry.
I know.
I'll take Brandon Felton over Russell
like a
Westbrook
sucky
right
bus.
about now.
All right, Mike Hughes.
I'll take Derek Fisher.
Man, bro, I get it, bro. I get it.
Mike Hughes, your thought.
I'll take my dude Mike over Westbrook right about now.
I'll give you buckets, boy. I promise you that. Jay McLovin knows we hooping over here. But
It's something I'm looking at the salary caps right now, and Denver was one of those situations with the Murray thing. I was curious to see if they could afford it. They can't afford it. But really looking at it, I don't think the Kings really care about Ben Simmons to that extent. I'm looking at New Orleans. I'm looking at that Zion Williamson situation to where they are number 2 and they can spend the most money. It goes OKC, New Orleans, Charlotte, Sacramento, and then Memphis, New York, Orlando, so on and so forth. So they're sitting at number 2. I think you trade Zion straight up and you can maybe get away with a pick or two. And then you bring in Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas, you have Tobias Harris, and you kind of have something little decent there. And I think that money that would be Tobias Harris is worth spending, especially in that point in time, is because you have an all-star in Valanciunas. You know what he is. And you know what Ben Simmons is going to bring. The pick and roll is going to be disgusting with those two. It's going to be Lob City. Brandon Ingram, I say it all the time. If you give that man a winning record, he is your MVP dark horse candidate. I think he steps up in a very big way. I love what he brings. I love the tenacity. That man's a hood hero. That man does everything everybody wants him to do, and he is a man of the people, and everybody loves him. So I think, Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, if they are going realistically anywhere, I don't see Portland. I don't see anywhere else like that. OKC, they could give a shit about being good right now. But I think New Orleans, they have a reasonable thing with how well Ja is playing. You're looking at Zion right now, and you're like, well, why did we take you number 1? So you have to get something for him. So you might as well get your guard of the future, because a big man that can dunk you can find anywhere. So I'll take Tobias and Simmons for Zion and a pick.
Yeah, but Mike, the money,
the salary's not going to work. Yeah,
Zion's on a rookie deal.
Yeah,
right, and that's where though you have money that can match. You can figure that out, and there's a bunch of those guys on that roster that are getting paid decent money, like Thomas Satoransky. You have Valanciunas. You have a bunch of guys that you can move. Valanciunas,
yeah, but the amount of money that $74 million between those two, that's a big hump to overcome. Right. That's a lot of money.
If Philly's willing to eat half of that, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, right. They're not going to eat half of that. I guarantee
you. You have to come within. Yeah, you have.
Philly's not going to eat half that salary.
You can't do that.
Hey, stupid questions get stupid answers, and I can't. That's the only way. That's the only way. If you're gonna ask me to take this bum, you need to pay half of that shit.
What I'm telling you,
that's the point. They're not gonna pay half of that. They're gonna say what they got.
They're not allowed to do that. Like, it's not like baseball where you can eat salaries. Like, you have to literally match. You have to match the salaries up to a percentage in order for the deal to work. So, in order for them to make that deal,
cash considerations back.
Yeah. Zion in the draft pick is not going to match up salary-wise to what Tobias and Ben Simmons could have to add. So that
help Mike out.
Hold on a minute. Hey, listen, we are right at 2 hours. So, man, I want you to wrap up with your comment this segment. What do you got?
Okay. I think that the 76ers are in a good spot right now to just trade Simmons, right? They went on a 7-game winning streak before they lost to the Hornets. I think that getting rid of Tobias would not be in their best interest. I think it would be in good interest for other teams, and that's fine, but I just don't think that they should do that right now. I think they're in a good spot. They're in playoff contention. They've been playing really well. Like I said, they won those 7 games before losing to the Hornets. I think that Simmons isn't playing. If you can find a team that will take him, then get rid of him. But don't trade Tobias, because then you're going to be putting yourself in a shitty situation when you're in a good situation right now. And there's no point. There's no reason to change that right now.
Right. Yeah, they're the 5 seed. They're right in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, we're gonna go into final thoughts real quick.
One final thing.
All right, go ahead, brother. What's your one thing?
What about this? We talked about Kyrie quickly. Can you package Simmons and Harris for Kyrie and Harden, who has the ability to opt out next year?
No.
Why would they do that, Ray?
Yeah, Brooklyn would be nuts to do that.
KD would leave too then.
Probably, but why?
But you would have a superstar that can play. You'd have a superstar that can.
Hey, Kenny, he'd request his way out.
I'm sure he would ask for a trade.
He's willing to take those cuts for not coming.
I think if you did that, if you went through with that trade, that would be Brooklyn admitting that they're in rebuild mode. If they did that trade,
Simmons, Harris, and KD, and that young talent. And you have somebody.
Yeah, but that's a lot of raw. That's a lot of raw.
Do you know how long that team would be defensively? And
where's their offense coming from?
Right.
But where's their offense coming from? That's the point.
Tobias can score.
I get what Tobias gave you about 15 points. They'll give you 15, but where's the rest of it?
Yeah, Ben Simmons can't score. Tobias can score.
Right, no, I get it. That's what I'm saying. You're going to live off the bias, but where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of the
lane would be wide open because you got Harris and KD outside shooting.
Hey, shout out to Tobias for getting that bag.
Hey, but that's you admitting that KD could carry the whole thing on his own, and I don't think health-wise, injury-wise,
he did it last year. If it wasn't for his size 14.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm going to give everybody time to give their final thoughts or whatever it is they want to say. I'm going to go first. I want to go first real quick because I want to talk about the Washington football team real fast. The Washington football team, I think the Washington football team is truly missing the mark on how they're going to come up with their new name. And I say that to say this. If they were really smart, and I lived in Washington, D.C. for a number of times, and one thing I know about Washington, D.C. is this. It's founded on everything that's history-based. Monuments, everything is tied into history with the Washington National Football Team. The second thing I know about them is they are an African-American-based society. There's a large African-American community there. So what I'm saying is this. If you're smart and you want to market your team, you're going to tie it into history and African-American population. So if you want to go smart, you're going to go Washington Red Tails. Why? Because we talked about this earlier. You're going to tie it into the Tuskegee Airmen and everything that they bring and everything that the Washington airplane brings into history. That's a lot of history that you're talking about. Now, Washington is founded on monuments. It's founded on making something about history everywhere you go throughout the 36 square miles that they have there. Why would you not tie it into number one, history, and number two, the African-American population and what they contributed to World War II and everything that encompasses? So Washington Red Tails, from a marketing standpoint, from a culturally inclusive standpoint, would make much more sense than the bullshit that they have currently going on right now. And I'm done. I'm done on that. And I'm done on that note. Freddie, what you got, brother?
I just want to give somebody on this panel their flowers. Shout out to Mike Hughes on the opportunity that he got. You guys seen it on his Facebook.
Yes, absolutely. Congrats, Mike.
Thanks, man.
Check him out. He's also helping us build our expansion page, ASAP Plus. Check those guys out as well. The lineup that he got set place over there. Just doing big things over here at the All Sports All Plays Network. Check out our all-female show, The Sports Senseis. It was a total success on this Monday. They'll have Kelsey Nicole Nelson on this upcoming Monday. Just check them out as well. Savannah, thank you for coming on. Ray been saying I've been hiding from him. I have came, sir, and I have delivered.
Awesome.
Kenny, I'm glad I was able to come educate you and Jay McLevin tonight as well. Carry on.
All right, Ray, for Bog Chronicles, we are moving on to you, brother.
So my final thought is it's back to what I said to start the show. I really hope that some kind of outside organization or somebody applies more pressure on these coaching situations in the NFL. It's a broken system. It's been broken. It continues to remain broken, and something needs to be done. I don't know all that it will take, but it's unacceptable, and it's really disappointing to see it. Thank God that the Pittsburgh Steelers organization hasn't had the same perspective, or they'd probably know black head coaches in the NFL. I look forward to the Deshaun situation clearing up so that he can get on with his life. I understand all the allegations, but he lost a year of his life based on an allegation or a lot of allegations. So hopefully,
Ray, really quick though, I just wanted to chime in with you. You know, they never really said he couldn't play. So was that more of him not wanting?
No,
to
that's
play?
all Houston. That's all.
Yeah,
He's on shit from them guys. That's all him. That's all Houston based.
That was more Houston and then the actual allegation.
Yeah, and let's be honest, man. All he's got is 21 civil counts, not criminal, civil. So it's going to cost him money and playing time. But you know what? When he gets onto his next contract, I think he's going to right the ship. I got faith that Deshaun learned from these mistakes, and I think he's going to right the ship. I have faith in him.
Yeah. So I agree. It was Houston, but the reason nobody is willing to take the risk is because of the allegations.
Right.
If those allegations don't exist,
He's in Miami right now.
I think he's a lot of places. Coach
Have
Rivera
anybody heard
said-
anything about the case, by the way? Because it's been real quiet. I haven't heard anything.
Listen, do you know how long it's going to take to deal with 21 cases, Freddie, and the court system that's dealing with COVID? Are you crazy? It's a hot minute, brother. A hot minute.
I was just.
Well, I think they're going to want. I think they're going to want.
It's going to be a while to process 21 cases with
I think
COVID.
they're going to want. I think he's just. I think it's probably going to be in his best interest to just settle. I think he's going to figure.
That's
out
what I would do. If I was him, I would just settle, take my losses.
I'm cut my losses, and I understand, trying to defend your character and things of that nature. But sometimes you gotta, cut your losses. So I think he's gonna just wind up settling.
He just needs a really good PR guy and deal with his law and deal with his civil suits, via whatever payments, and then cut sling load and then just start over. I think that's the best thing for him. I agree with you, Kenny, 100%. But he needs a good PR guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but for me, my final thoughts is I'm just excited about Wild Card Weekend. Looking forward to see my Cowboys handle their business so that I can laugh and see Freddie suffer for another week.
God, I can't
Cowboys wait. And playing a
playoffs. Hey, Ken, I got an idea. Me, you, Jay McLevin, whoever else want to do play-by-play at the Cowboys. I'll be on there.
I'm down. Don't even tempt me.
I'll be there just minding my business.
Be honest with you, Sunday is my fiance's birthday, so
happy birthday!
I won't be able to do that. But
how convenient!
But I will be on Monday, win or lose, because unlike some people I know that don't show up when their teams lose, I will be here, win or lose.
You about Jay?
I'm talking
wait
about
a minute, damn it! I'm always on.
We ain't seen you in 3 weeks.
Hold on, let me clear. I will not be on Monday because I will be at work, and I will send you.
Of course you won't. Of course you won't. I get it, Freddie. You're not dedicated. Nobody cares about your dedication.
I'll send my work schedule.
I was gonna say it's just convenient that you always have to work.
He always working, ain't it?
That he
always working. Hey, last time I checked, too, Lowe's closes at 8, so I don't know why
you. 8 your time. They close at 9 my time, sir. 9 my time, sir.
I'm just saying. I used to work
so
there.
Don't come for me, Mike. Mike, I just gave you love. Don't come for me, sir. You're supposed to be deeper with Jay McLevin, not with me, sir.
Hey, all right. Hey, listen, Kenny, you got anything else left on your
comment?
That was
it, man. I'm just excited about Wild Card Weekend. Let's go, Cowboys.
Hey, you and me both. Kenny, much love, baby. Let's go, man. Let's go, baby. All right, Mike Hughes. You got nobody playing this weekend, but go ahead and give us your
I'm living my life, bro. You let me be, bro.
Man, you ain't been. Hey, listen, Mike Hughes, the last time your team was there, you weren't even a sperm in your daddy's ball sack.
Man. That's tight. Until it's something you say where it's not true, I will always let you ride with it. And that was a valid point. And I just want to say thanks to everybody, rocking with me and getting the opportunity at 1252 ESPN. It means everything. And, I grew up with guys, to look up to like Derrick Rose and Chance the Rapper. They don't traditionally look like your guys that make it. And to someone who doesn't have that college degree yet, we're working on it. But it's something to where we're changing the narrative and we're changing the way things are going about. I'm going to be the first one at the ESPN meeting that doesn't have a college degree. And I know, Freddie, I'm going to say it just one time, for motherfuckers are going to look at me and they're going to hate me, bro. They're going to be like, why is this kid here? And it's going to be a whole thing. But that's not even what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to ASAP Plus, the all women show we're putting together. It's great work. And Cleats Over Streets is a nonprofit I'm working on right now. And you guys can check it out on my Facebook. It's Kenny knows about it. Ray knows about it. Freddie, Jay McLovin, everyone knows. It's basically me running a nonprofit organization with me and all my friends that I grew up with that I trust to help kids in these, misfortunate neighborhoods. And in like my neighborhood, a guy just got shot down the street the other day. And it's a situation to where these kids can't afford these camps, these COVID camps. They're raising the money. They're making it higher for these people who can't afford it for kids to have a safe place to play in the summer. We have the Cubs endorsing it. We have the Bulls endorsing it, the Bears, and we're going to rock off this summer and give kids a free space, a safe space to play all summer. So I'm rocking with that. We're rocking with a lot of shit right now. And trying to find out what the Bears are doing is a hell of a lot harder than what I'm trying to do right now. So at least it's not that bad. I'm not looking for a head coach and a GM. That's not my job. But right now, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for always rocking with me and just believing in everything I'm doing.
Yeah, man. Hey, Mike, I think I speak for everybody here that we want to lift you up, man, and say how much we appreciate what you contribute, not only to the network, but just like you said, your community as well. And it's a lot to give back to a community. That's pretty special. So we want to lift you up, man. That's how much we appreciate you and all that you're doing, brother.
I appreciate it.
All right, Savannah, intern 90 day. I was late my first day. Give us your final thoughts.
Wait, before she goes, though, I'm late every day, so I don't want to hear this slander like that.
Yeah, but I can't fire you. You're in management. Shut the hell up.
She'll get there. She'll get there.
So,
you let her
maybe one day, Freddie will put me in. I doubt that. But anyway, we love you, Mike. Savannah, 90-day intern. Give us your damn final thoughts, please.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on. I had a good time. But I have a couple mini things. I'm excited. I'm going to the Raiders Bengals game on Saturday since my mom's a Raiders fan. It's only a 3-hour drive, so that's going to be exciting.
That's cool.
I really am rooting for Dallas to win because that's the one team that I want to play as the Packers because we just beat them every time that we play them. It's nice to have my first back.
See what you did there.
Free days.
I love it.
I know.
I love her already. She's so awesome. She's gonna be a regular.
I have a huge goal to go to every NFL stadium, and I've been to 4 already this season. I went to the Ravens when they played the Packers. I went to I went to Chicago when they played the Packers. Went to Cincinnati when they played the Packers. All because I'm scared Aaron Rodgers is leaving, so I'm going to every game that I can.
As you should. As you should.
Right. So, yeah, and I'm going to my 4th NFL game this Saturday, so I'm really excited. On behalf of my mom, go Raiders. And, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers ain't going nowhere. Let me tell you something. At the end of the day,
I honestly, personally don't believe he ain't.
Listen.
You're just saying that.
He's not leaving Green Bay. That whole culture. He's
too happy. I think he had a really good season, and I think he's happy with them. I think maybe if he wins the Super Bowl, maybe he'll be
That's
like,
the only way he stays.
But I think he's still playing at a very high level.
Brett Favre 2.0 is going to the Vikings.
God, please no, literally.
All right,
with the Bears or the Vikings, go play for the damn Lions, literally anywhere but those 2 teams.
All right, folks, we managed to fix this whole show in 2 hours and 15 minutes. I think that's a hell of an accomplishment for this network, given the longevity of Freddie's comments. We did pretty well. That alone is an accomplishment. No, really, that alone is an accomplishment. But, Freddie, we love having you on, and it's amazing. From the oldest of the network to the youngest of the network in Savannah, we've had it all on this show. And from females to males to blacks, whites, and everything in between, this show is all inclusive, and I love it. I freaking just love it, man. And I love everybody on this panel. And from us to you, don't forget to catch the Sports Senseis. Don't forget to catch the Sports Senseis on ASF Plus because that is really a talented group, and you're going to enjoy their content every day going forward. And from all of us, Freddie, unless you got anything left, at ASAP Real Talk, we will see you guys on Monday and find out exactly what happens over these wild cards. Amazing. We're out of here. Peace out. Much love to everybody.
Whole sports, all plays. Whole sports, all plays. Whole sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport, all plays.